Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Everyone is awakening. I have unlimited Sss-Level talents. Chapter 21. The next morning, Wang Wen, who was making breakfast, heard the noise and walked to the kitchen, and saw Li Sufeng walking out of the bedroom in a leisurely manner. Son, why do you get up so early? Wang Wen asked doubtfully. As a student in the ordinary class, my son only needs to participate in the literary test. Therefore, as soon as yesterday passed, my son's college entrance examination was considered over. Logically speaking, he should have a good rest, right? Why do you still get up so early? Mom, it's only an hour before the exam. Is this still early? Li Sufeng grinned and looked towards the kitchen. Are you lazy this morning? You haven't made breakfast yet. It's almost done. Wang Wen got into the kitchen and walked out with a bowl of egg noodles. While Li Sufeng was eating noodles, Wang Wen sighed inwardly. She thought her son got up so early to rush to the examination room to cheer for Kai Shu. As a son of a wealthy family, Kai Shu doesn't have any of the problems of the rich second generation, and has a very close relationship with his son. As a liberal arts student, my son is not qualified to take the martial arts exam, but he should cheer for his best friend. Mom, are you okay tonight? Li Sufeng asked while murmuring. It's nothing, why do you ask? Wang Wen was puzzled. Li Sufeng showed a mysterious smile. In that case, in the afternoon, remember to turn on the Spark Education channel and watch the actual martial arts test. There will be surprises then. Surprise. Wang Wen looked suspicious, and Li Sufeng had already put down his bowls and chopsticks, clapped his hands and said, I'm full, Mom. I'm going to the examination room first. What is the surprise that my son is talking about? Watching Li Sufeng leave home, Wang Wen was still a little confused. A little donkey without a father. Li Sufeng quickly arrived at the examination room of No. 3 Middle School. After verifying his identity card, Li Sufeng followed the flow of people to the fitness center of No. 3 Middle School. The physical fitness hall is divided into multiple areas, namely the comprehension examination room area, the physical fitness examination room area and the mental examination room area. Li Sufeng followed the guidance signs and quickly arrived at the comprehension examination room area. There are many students lining up here. Li Sufeng ranked lower. After waiting for half an hour, Li Sufeng came to the front of the team. In front of you is a temporary warehouse, divided into multiple rooms, with multiple examiners waiting in front of each room. Li Sufeng went to the nearest aisle 3, took out his ID card, and verified his identity in front of the machine's camera. The examiner then let me go. Following the passage, Li Sufeng entered a room in the warehouse. There is a long table, a wooden bench, and a helmet placed on the long table in the room. This is a virtual world helmet. Candidates please wear it. Opposite the long table sat a gray-haired old man, who spoke seriously. Li Sufeng sat down on the wooden bench, picked up the virtual helmet and put it on. The virtual helmet allows the wearer's consciousness to enter the vast cyberspace, making virtuality extremely close to reality. It is one of the greatest inventions in the Kanglan world. The next moment, Li Sufeng's consciousness came to a world like a studio. This is the virtual examination room for martial arts comprehension. There is a special magnetic field inside that can interfere with and oppress the examinee's spirit. A huge blackboard suddenly appeared in front of me. A picture appeared on the blackboard. In the picture, there was an indescribably majestic man standing on the top of a mountain, facing the brilliant starry sky, leaving Li Sufeng with a domineering back. Starry Sky Warrior God vs. Wu Zhe. Li Sufeng's eyes were filled with enthusiasm. Zhan Wuge, the strongest man in human history. They are also the first batch of warrior pioneers to be washed by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and awaken their talents. He pioneered the martial arts practice in this world, allowing countless descendants who awakened their talents to successfully enter the martial arts path. He also defeated the Demon King and established a free country for mankind, which continues to this day. His great deeds appear in the textbooks of students all over the world, and it is difficult to finish them in 7 days and 7 nights. Li Sufeng himself is also a fanatical admirer of Zhan Wuge. Examinee Li Sufeng, after 1 minute, the martial god's back figure will disappear in front of your eyes. You must use your mind as a pen to copy the martial god's back figure on the blackboard again. The system will give you a martial arts comprehension score based on the completion of your copying. The old examiner's voice rang in his ears. Then a 60-second countdown appeared in front of him. Li Sufeng's eyes widened and he stared at the war god's back picture, trying to imprint all the details of this picture into his mind. A minute passed. The pictures on the blackboard disappeared as expected. The exam starts in 30 minutes. Please copy the war god's back picture as soon as possible. The examiner's cold voice ended, and the 30-minute countdown appeared. It's been a minute so soon. I don't seem to have fully remembered the details of the martial god picture. Although Li Sufeng was a little unsure, he still used his thoughts as a pen to overwrite the picture of the god of war on the blackboard. As the lines were drawn stroke by stroke, the outline of the majestic figure of the god of war slowly emerged on the blackboard. 10 minutes later, the image of the god of war on the blackboard became three-dimensional. It's just that compared to before, it still lacks colors and some clothing details. The copying degree value that appears above the blackboard is 70%. This means that Li Sufeng can get at least 70% of the total martial arts comprehension score. How can this score be enough? Li Sufeng continued to copy with his mind, but was surprised to find that the speed at which he was carving the martial god's picture began to slow down rapidly. His head even started to feel swollen and his eyes felt tingling. The closer copying gets to the end, the more difficult it becomes and the more it tests one's understanding. Although a copying score of 70% means that my understanding is also above average, but as a proud man of heaven, this score is not enough. Li Sufeng gritted his teeth, endured the discomfort in his head and eyes, and forced himself to carve it with his mind. Time passes again. The picture of the god of war on the blackboard has been copied 85%. At this time, Li Sufeng's memory became very confusing, and he couldn't even remember the appearance of the god of war. His eyes began to bleed, and his head stung sharply like needles. Fight. If it were anyone else, they might give up copying because of pain. But Li Sufeng showed a fierce expression and roared in his heart. Then, on the picture of the god of war, details such as stars, moon, and clouds appear again. The copying degree has also been increased to 90%. If Li Sufeng gives up, this will be enough to get 180 comprehension points. This achievement, compared to previous years, is already outstanding. After all, anyone who can score 150 points has a good understanding and talent. This 180 points definitely belongs to excellent understanding. Not enough. Not enough. Keep going. Li Sufeng opened his bleeding eyes, staring at the black and white, his thoughts like a pen, stroking wildly. Gradually, blood dyed his eyes red, making his vision blurry. He could no longer see clearly the picture of the god of war in black and white. At this moment, the examiner's voice suddenly sounded. 30 minutes are up and the comprehension test is over. Candidate Li Sufeng's copying degree was 96% and he scored 192 points. Now, please take off your helmet. Quote, is this the end? The blackboard and the martial god picture suddenly dispersed. The pain in the head and eyes also disappeared. Li Sufeng took off his helmet and found that his whole body was soaked in cold sweat. My body is even weaker than fighting 100 wild monsters. Across the table, the old examiner showed a hint of appreciation on his face. Young man, if you can copy the martial god picture to 96% in a high-pressure and chaotic virtual world, your comprehension is already on par with the top scorer in the last college entrance examination, which is very good. Quote, as an examiner, he has no reason to talk to students. But I witnessed the birth of a genius. He really couldn't control his emotions. If we grit our teeth and persist for a while, the copying degree may reach 97% or 98%, right? It's a pity that I still couldn't hold on. The examiner was very satisfied with Li Sufeng's results. But Li Sufeng himself regretted this. The examiner handed Li Sufeng a tube of red potion. This is a recovery potion. It can quickly restore your energy. After taking it, you can go to the next examination room. By the way, are you a natural science candidate? Yes, teacher. Li Sufeng took the potion and drank it, feeling that his energy was rapidly recovering. Then you have to go to the mental examination room for the next round. Turn left after exiting. For a genius like Li Sufeng, the aloof examiner also became more talkative. Thank you, teacher. Li Sufeng thanked him, left the examination room, and returned to the hall through the back door. Martial arts understanding doesn't seem to be directly related to mental strength. It's more about testing creativity. On the way to the next examination room, Li Sufeng thought about what he had just done. The later stage of the comprehension test. He couldn't remember what the martial god picture looked like at all in his mind. All copying is based on instinct. According to the examiner, my martial arts comprehension is 1 in 10,000, but there is no such option as comprehension value on the panel, and I have not relied on the system to improve my comprehension, so my comprehension is purely natural. Although my talent, Li Sufeng, is poor, my martial arts understanding is amazing. I'm very pleased. With a little satisfaction, Li Sufeng came to the mental examination room area. In the second stage of the martial arts examination, the examination items for the natural department and the superhuman department are different. The superhuman department tests physical fitness, testing strength, endurance, agility, to determine the score. In the natural department, the score is determined by testing mental strength only. After queuing for a while, Li Sufeng verified his identity card and entered the mental examination room. This is a closed chamber. There are no examiners among them. But there are 10 cameras hanging in every corner, targeting Li Sufeng from all directions. At the top of the secret room, there is a half-meter diameter, cyberpunk-style telepathy ball. Examinee Li Sufeng. After 30 seconds of countdown, the exam will begin. You need to show your talent without leaving any room. An examiner's voice came from the speakers, followed by a countdown. Wait for the countdown to reach 0. Li Sufeng, who had been prepared long ago, looked ferocious, his muscles all over his body were tight and stretched, and a golden glow spread like flames on his skin. Talent, fierce light. At the moment when talent is revealed, Li Sufeng's energy began to drain away crazily. The induction ball above his head was also flashing with a cold luster. 30 seconds later, the golden glow on the body couldn't stop disappearing. Li Sufeng looked stunned. I concentrate on using my talent without sparing any effort, but my energy can only last for 30 seconds. On weekdays, when Li Sufeng fights, he will also use his talents. But it won't be used so recklessly. Therefore, the energy consumption speed will be slowed down, and the state of the violent light can also be prolonged. About 2 or 3 minutes. Once his energy is exhausted, Li Sufeng can only be forced to remove his talent. However, after quickly recovering his energy with supplements such as energy pills, he was able to use his talent again. He often uses this routine when brushing monsters in the wild. At the end of the exam, candidate Li Sufeng's mental strength was 17.6 and he scored 176 points. You can exit the examination room now. The cold voice sounded again, and Li Sufeng nodded slightly. The psychic induction ball in this secret room is actually more accurate than the system's evaluation. He even evaluated his mental strength to a decimal point. Amazing. After leaving the mental examination room, Li Sufeng was in a pretty good mood. The total score of the martial arts test is 1,000 points. Among them, the basic cultural score accounts for 75, the comprehension score accounts for 200, and the mental and physical quality also account for 200 points. The remaining 525 points need to be obtained through actual combat assessment. So far, Li Sufeng's total comprehension and spirit score has reached 368 points, excluding cultural points. This score is close to the score line of the second martial arts university of 400. For Li Sufeng, the actual combat assessment is a strong point where he can easily score points. Why? Very simple. These days, apart from staying in the gym, Li Sufeng goes outside the city to kill monsters. He has accumulated more combat experience than any student. Which monsters are hard, which ones are soft, which ones have less hair. Li Sufeng knows it all. Therefore, if this practical candidate fails to get full marks, his performance will be abnormal. It seems that the 8 universities are basically stable. What I have to consider now is, which university should I attend? While other candidates are still nervous and uneasy and dissatisfied with their performance in the current exam, Li Sufeng is already looking forward to the future and popping the champagne in advance. Li Sufeng is not afraid of setting a flag because of this. All he needs to do is be strong. As long as the strength is strong enough, what else is there to fear? Noon. Li Sufeng didn't want to trouble his mother, so he had lunch at a food stall near No. 3 Middle School. After ordering a bowl of extra-large pork chop rice, Li Sufeng took out his cell phone while eating. Lao Li, how were your test scores today? I only got 100 points for my comprehension and only 150 points for my physical fitness. My performance was too average. I heard that Monster Shu Kai scored 157 points in comprehension and perfect scores in physical fitness. He is also the only perfect score in our number 2 middle school. Old Li, you must be curious, why is Shu Kai the only one with perfect scores? It's simple, because Lan Aoshui also took the college entrance examination. Not to mention the comprehension score of 180, the mental score also got full marks. This girl is so outrageous. She has been admitted to Tianwan University without taking the exam, but she still wants to take the college entrance examination. This is to steal the limelight from our little geniuses and deny them a way to survive. This kid Kai Shu had finished his 2 subjects a long time ago and sent messages every once in a while. Li Sufeng was quite surprised. Shu Kai's physical fitness is indeed very abnormal, but because of his mediocre understanding, his total score in the 2 subjects is currently lower than his own. But what about this girl Lan Aoshui? Even if he has a perfect score for spirit, his understanding is actually not much different from his own. Currently, the 2 subjects are 12 points ahead of him. The mental strength has actually exceeded 20. Lan Aoshui is indeed a specially recruited monster. Li Sufeng sighed and gradually regained his composure. If his talent value is enough and he upgrades the crazy light to an S-level talent, his mental strength will probably exceed 20, which is enough to get full marks. It's a pity that the talent value is still a bit low, so it is not possible to upgrade this talent for the time being. But as long as you continue to accumulate, it will only be a matter of time before your talent reaches S-level. It won't be long before he can catch up with Lan Aoshui's mental strength. Lao Li, what score did you get in the exam? At this time, Kai Shu sent another message asking. Li Sufeng said directly, I don't know the cultural score, but my understanding is 192 and my mental strength is 176. Nani, you actually surpassed Shu Kai. Aren't you currently second in the 2nd middle school? Second only to Lan Aoshui. Lao Li, what have you been doing these days? Are you taking melatonin every day? You're so cruel. Kai Shu was shocked by Li Sufeng's score. Li Sufeng was very calm. Brother Ji, it's just basic operations, don't do it 6 times. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Kai Shu, did you install it for your buddy? 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The entrance to the city's No. 1 middle school was overcrowded. Why are there so many people? The Ministry of Education, I'm going to be squeezed to death. Do you want a stampede to happen? Why can't you set up 2 more examination rooms? Stop complaining. The secret teleportation array is too expensive. No other school except No. 1 middle school has it. Just bear with it. When Li Sufeng arrived, there were constant complaints from around him. Ignoring the commotion around him, he raised a hand and said, Brother Chicken. Nearby, Kai Shu, who was facing off against a burly student 2 meters tall, let out a long sigh of relief. Boy, it's not that I can't squeeze you, but my brother is here and I don't want to argue with you. Good luck to you. After saying harsh words, Kai Shu quickly came to Li Sufeng. Old Li, when we get to the secret trial realm later, I will be there to resist the monsters. You just need to cheer me up from behind. Kai Shu looked confident. Okay, let's enter the examination room first. There are too many people here and I'm going to be starved of oxygen. Li Sufeng slapped Kai Shu. The latter's muscles immediately tensed up, and his veins twisted like earthworms. He pushed through the crowd and rushed towards the entrance of No. 1 middle school. Old Li, I have activated my talent, giant power, time is tight, please follow me quickly. Kai Shu didn't need to remind him. The moment he opened the way, Li Sufeng followed him closely and followed him all the way to the gate of No. 1 middle school. Are you crazy? Are you opening your talent before entering the examination room? Where is the madness? You have a lot of strength, right? You're really not afraid of failing the exam. Kai Shu's domineering behavior attracted many students to criticize him. After passing the test and entering the campus, he threw a JLI pill directly into his mouth, chewed it like a bean, and hummed, "I have strength and money, why don't you give me your talent if you don't accept it?" Quote. The crowd was speechless for a while, and some were cursing. "Fat man, when we get to the secret trial realm, I'm going to beat you up. Brother, count me in, this fat guy is so annoying, I have to get rid of him." Kai Shu was about to fight back hard, but Li Sufeng immediately stopped him. "Forget it, Brother Ji, according to the actual examination rules, candidates are allowed to fight against each other. The more hatred you cause, the more pressure we will have when we get to the examination room. The bigger it gets. Lao Li, it seems that's what happened, but why didn't you tell me earlier?" Kai Shu's expression changed. The last stage of the martial arts test was to transport all the candidates in the city to a secret trial realm. There are countless monsters cultivated by the government in the secret area of the trial. Candidates enter it, hunt monsters and gain exam points. This is the main theme. However, the Ministry of Education does not explicitly prohibit candidates from competing in secret areas. For this reason, some students will actively attack others during exams. Some are seeking revenge, while others are trying to reduce their competitors so that they can gain more points. At the moment, it is definitely unwise to attract everyone's hatred before the exam has even started. Kai Shu was immediately frightened, took out a mask and put it on. "Fat man, are you scared now? I have already remembered your face. You will definitely be miserable later. Ha ha ha, I made you pretend to beat just now." Seeing this, someone began to ridicule. Kai Shu's face turned red with anger, and he pulled Li Sufeng away to the teleportation place. Soon, Li Sufeng and Kai Shu came outside the playground of No. 1 Middle School. The floor tiles in the playground are all made of expensive psychic stones. There are 8 priceless space energy stones in the center, edge and other areas, thus forming a huge teleportation array covering the playground. The teleportation array was surrounded by examiners and security personnel. Li Sufeng and Kai Shu checked their identities and put on the scoring bracelets handed over by the examiner before entering. Time passed and it was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At this time, the Minister of Education, wearing a Chinese tunic suit, with gray temples and thick knuckles, came to the front of the crowd. His eagle eyes scanned the entire audience, he nodded solemnly and spoke loudly. "Dear students, the practical exam is about to begin. At that time, you will be transported to the secret trial realm. The exam lasts for 1 day, which means you have to spend day and night in the secret trial realm, for a full 24 hours. There are countless monsters in the secret realm, and each one carries different test points. You can hunt them individually or in teams to get test points. The total score for this practical assessment is 525 points. Good luck to everyone." After saying this, the Minister of Education strode away, and then the teleportation array flashed with dazzling white light, swallowing all the students. When the white light dissipated, all the students disappeared in place. At the same time, after experiencing a spinning feeling of weightlessness, Li Sufeng opened his eyes and found that he had left the playground of No. 1 Middle School and arrived on a plain. In the south, there are dense and vast forests. There are high mountains covered with snow in the north. In the west, there is a sky full of yellow sand and a scorching sun. Counting the plain where we are now, there are 4 environments coexisting in this secret realm, which is very strange. Is this the legendary secret realm? It's quite strange. Li Sufeng nodded secretly and looked up at the sky again. At high altitude, drones pass by like a flock of birds, carrying high-definition cameras that are constantly rotating. There are drones everywhere in the secret realm. Under the surveillance of drones, the entire college entrance examination will be broadcast live. As long as Mom turns on the Spark station, maybe she can see me. Hey, it's my first time on live broadcast, I have to show my mom a big show. Li Sufeng waved his fist and looked at the red bracelet on his wrist. This bracelet has functions such as positioning, calculating points, and monitoring physical conditions. If someone is injured, the bracelet will provide a timely physical assessment to see if they can continue the exam. If there is a risk of death, the candidate will be picked up by teleported staff. This is also to avoid someone dying during the exam. Fighting monsters is not a piece of cake. In fact, in every college entrance examination, if security work is done properly, 1 or 2 people will die. Injuries are an unavoidable experience for many students. In such a dangerous situation, the Ministry of Education has never changed the actual combat rules, and the reason is very simple. In this world, monsters are rampant, demons are raging, and alien races are cruel. Ordinary humans are like ants in front of them. Only warriors with strong strength can fight them. Therefore, warriors must shoulder more social responsibilities and assume the bounden duty of protecting the country and the world. Especially powerful warriors will definitely have to fight against these monsters in the future. Although actual combat will increase the students' mortality rate, it will also temper the students' will and give them the experience of fighting monsters. Only in this way, after becoming true warriors, can students have a higher survival rate in life and death fights with monsters. Martial arts is not easy. Thinking of all these, Li Sufeng sighed. At this time, a voice suddenly came from my ears. Brother, what level of talent are you? Are you interested in forming a team? Li Sufeng turned around and saw a tall young man wearing a navy combat uniform walking towards him with a confident smile. There was also a petite girl wearing a Shangqi combat uniform beside her. Brother Chicken is not with me. It seems he was teleported away. Li Sufeng looked around for a while, but could not find Kai Shu. In order to prevent candidates from grouping together in advance, the teleportation array will disperse the candidates' teleportation positions. Brother Chicken may have been teleported to a certain nook and cranny right now. It is not easy to find him in this vast secret realm. But even if he can't team up with Brother Ji, Li Sufeng is not interested in teaming up with others. I'm not interested in teaming up. With that said, he turned around and left. The smile on the young man's face froze. He glanced at the girl next to him and felt so embarrassed that he shouted with a red face, "Boy! Stop!" Li Sufeng turned around. Is there anything else? How dare you reject me, Tang Yunlong? Boy, who are you? The young man held back his anger and growled with a red face. Li Sufeng said with a cold face, "It doesn't matter what grade 1 I'm in. What's important is that if you dare to delay me from spawning monsters again, I will beat you into a soaring cloud insect. You are looking for death." Tang Yunlong roared angrily, with wisps of flames rising from his body, and his muscles were tense and stretched, giving people an extremely vicious feeling. Whoosh! In the nearby grass, another afterimage shot up like an arrow and bit Li Sufeng's arm before Tang Yunlong took action. It's an ivy snake. It's highly venomous. The petite girl screamed and hid behind Tang Yunlong. I am most afraid of snakes. This kid was bitten by an ivy snake at the beginning. He is going to be eliminated. Ha ha ha, he deserves it. Tang Yunlong released his flame talent, and the anger on his face turned into gloating. The ivy snake is a first-level monster. Although it is small in size, it contains highly toxic substances. If it is bitten, the poison will spread throughout the body within 10 minutes. If not treated in time, you will definitely die. In every assessment in the past, if a student was bitten by the ivy snake, he would basically be eliminated. Because snake venom is too indestructible, unless the student has detoxification talents. But such a talent is unique and rare. Boy, if you dare to pretend in front of me, Tang Yunlong, this is your fate. Tang Yunlong smiled mockingly. Who knows the next moment? A huge slap landed on the ivy snake's forehead. With a click sound, the snake's head exploded, blood and venom splashed, and the snake corpse fell to the ground. Li Sufeng waved his hand. Except for 2 unbroken teeth marks on his forearm, there were no other injuries. Not to mention that there are signs of being poisoned and turning black. The fangs of the ivy snake didn't bite his arm. How is this possible? The petite girl covered her mouth, very surprised. You're not poisoned. Tang Yunlong's face changed slightly. Li Sufeng said with a cold face, if you don't want to take my iron fist, just get away. You guy. Tang Yunlong was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but Li Sufeng had already turned around and left. He wanted to chase after him, but when he thought of the scene of Li Sufeng slapping the ivy snake to death, he felt a little frightened for no reason. Classmate Tang, he doesn't want to form a team, so forget it. The petite girl pulled down Tang Yunlong's sleeve. Classmate Chow Chow, let me give you face and not argue with this guy. However, there is a lot of movement in the direction this guy is going, which shows that there are a lot of monsters. Let's follow him and take a look first. Tang Yunlong went down the steps, and then followed Li Sufeng. Kill the ivy snake, talent value +10. On the other side, Li Sufeng, who was walking quickly on the plain, looked at the system text in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. Sure enough, the monsters in the secret trial realm are specially raised by the government and are not as wild and powerful as wild monsters, but they can still bring me talent points. This trial secret realm is no different from a large monster spawning treasure land. I'm going to get rich. Li Sufeng roared in his heart and looked at the watch on his wrist. A number 5 appears above it. Representing this dead ivy snake, it brings him 5 points for the exam. One first-level monster is worth 5 test points. If I kill another 105 first-level monsters, wouldn't I be able to get full marks? This exam is too easy. Li Sufeng shook his head slightly, feeling a little unmotivated. These days, he has killed more than this number of monsters in the wild. Killing 105 monster beasts was too easy for him and not challenging at all. Well, I made a new discovery. Li Sufeng continued walking and saw in the grass ahead 5 large toads with bodies over 1 meter wide, thick limbs, and bumps on their backs. The black mist toad is a first-level monster. The fleshy bumps on its back can release black gas poisonous mist, which not only contains trace amounts of paralyzing toxins but also interferes with vision. Basic knowledge about the black mist toad comes to mind. Li Sufeng did not rush to take action, but slowly approached the 5 black mist toads. Faced with so many black mist toads, he still dares to approach him. How courageous is he? Not far away, Chow Chow showed a nervous expression. If you say it well, you are brave, if you say it badly, you are stupid. Chow Chow, watch out, this kid is about to suffer. Tang Yunlong's expression was contemptuous, but he hadn't finished speaking yet. Far away, whoosh, a layer of golden light spread out from Li Sufeng's body. He no longer walked with a crouched waist, but sprinted with long strides. The distance of 10 meters was spanned in an instant. A fist covered in golden light hit a black mist toad on the head. Bang! Before the black mist toad made any move, its forehead quickly sunk in, and blood burst out from its eye sockets and ear openings. Quack quack quack! The remaining 4 black mist toads screamed angrily, and at the same time, the fleshy knots on their backs opened like flower buds. Swish! Black mist spurted from the poison sac and began to spread in the air. Bang bang! Li Sufeng jumped into the fog and smashed his fists down like hammers. 2 more black mist toads crashed to the ground. The remaining 2 screamed, croaked, and ignored Li Sufeng. They kicked their frog legs wildly and jumped into the distance. Scared away. What? Tang Yunlong's pupils shrank and his jaw opened, unable to close it for a long time due to shock. 5 black mist toads, just 1 encounter, 3 died and 2 escaped. Is this guy a monster? The petite girl next to her had a golden light in her eyes. This classmate is really strong. Is he Shu Kai from number 2 middle school, or is he Sun Yu from No. 6 middle school? When Tang Yunlong heard this, his face turned red and his whole body felt hot. A second ago, he said that Li Sufeng was going to be miserable. Who would have thought that people would show off their power in the next second? This slap in the face is faster than a tornado. How can there be any reason to let the talent points slip away? In the black mist, Li Sufeng stared at the 2 black mist toads, wanting to chase them. But he was surprised to find that the black mist had a cold feeling, making his limbs stiff. The trace amounts of paralyzing toxins in the fog are attacking my body. I need to leave this area first. Li Sufeng jumped out of the black fog, and the stiffness in his limbs slowly disappeared. When he raised his head, the 2 toads had been submerged in the weeds and disappeared. Li Sufeng stamped his feet angrily, then turned around and glared at Tang Yunlong. With just one glance, Tang Yunlong's heart almost stopped and he stepped back continuously. But I saw Li Sufeng scolding. The broom star caused me to miss 2 monsters. Tang Yunlong looked aggrieved. Can you pass the blame on me? You are too unreasonable. However, after witnessing Li Sufeng's terrifying strength, he did not dare to talk back and looked at the girl with a sigh of relief. Chow Chow, there are too few monsters here. Let's move to another place. Who knows? A gust of fragrant wind drifted by. The girl named Chow Chow crossed Tang Yunlong and walked toward Li Sufeng with enthusiasm. Classmate, you are so strong. I am Zhang Chow Chow from number 7 Middle School. Can we form a team? Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Tang Yunlong almost vomited blood out of breath. Was he, Torin, on the spot? When Tang Yunlong was hit by humiliation, Zhang Chaochao stared at Li Sufeng with admiration, waiting for a reply. She considers herself to be so charming that she can make any student fall under her skirt. Unexpectedly, Li Sufeng said with an indifferent expression, "Women will only affect my drawing of the sword. I am not interested in women, especially women who start a fight but give up. Starting in chaos and finally giving up. I didn't. He and I just met." Zhang Chaochao looked aggrieved. Li Sufeng was too lazy to respond, ignored the green TB*ch, gave Tang Yunlong a "don't follow me" look, and headed deeper into the plane. "You really abandoned me. Are you gay?" Zhang Chaochao didn't expect that Li Sufeng would ignore her so much, and was so angry that she stamped her feet and cursed. After scolding for a while, she walked towards Tang Yunlong without blushing and said, "Classmate Tang, I think the two of us have a tacit understanding. How about we continue to form a team?" Roll. The practical exam is in full swing. Many citizens of Spark City turned on the TV, tuned to the Spark Education channel, and watched this exam that would determine the fate of many students. Through the drone's god's perspective, the TV screen continued to rotate, and the heroic figures of young boys and girls also appeared on the TV screen. In the living room with old decoration, showing a sense of age, Li Jiaoyu, who was on vacation for the college entrance examination, was licking a lollipop and watching TV. "Mom, why hasn't my brother shown up yet?" After waiting for a while, Li Sufeng didn't appear on the TV, so Li Jiaoyu looked at Wang Wen, who was standing aside. The little girl doesn't understand so many rules. She only knows that today is the college entrance examination, and her brother happens to be a candidate and should also participate in this exam and appear on the TV. "Yuyu, my brother is not in good health and will not participate in this exam. He will not appear on the TV." Wang Wen smiled bitterly and touched her daughter's forehead. Unexpectedly, Li Jiaoyu pointed at the TV and said, "Mom, you are lying. Isn't that my brother?" Wang Wen subconsciously saw a familiar figure appearing on the screen. Although this figure only lasted for less than 3 seconds. But Wang Wen can be sure that that is her son. Is it really Zhaofeng? Isn't he unable to participate in the martial arts test? How come he appears in the secret trial realm? Wang Wen was stunned, her thoughts as confused as cotton balls. Soon, she came back to her senses. Thinking of Li Sufeng's remarks this morning, she clenched her fists and looked excited and nervous. "Xiaofeng, is this the surprise you prepared for Mom? It's just that this practical exam is full of dangers, you must be careful." Trial Secret Realm, the western region of the plain. Boom, the earth trembled, and more than 30 monster beasts gathered in a group, galloping and wreaking havoc. In the direction where the monster beast was charging, there were 2 figures running away desperately. One of them is slightly chubby, has thick eyebrows and big eyes, yet is cute. He shouted in panic, "Sister Rui, aren't the monsters in this secret trial realm scattered in pieces? Why are we so unlucky that we encountered a tide of beasts at the beginning?" Tian Rui looked miserable. "Wang Jun, I also want to know why we are so unlucky. Is it because you have been so unlucky recently that you infected me?" "I didn't, Sister Rui. I have prayed to God and worshipped Buddha a long time ago. This bad luck has absolutely nothing to do with me. Then you just blame me for being too unlucky. That's not what I meant, Sister Rui." Wang Jun was crying with a mournful face, when suddenly the grass in front of him shook, and a giant white wolf with a grinning teeth and a ferocious face appeared. "Sister Rui, it seems we are doomed." Wang Jun suddenly stopped in place, his face was full of tears. Pong bang bang. Tian Rui's face was cold, and after stopping at the same time as Wang Jun, they folded their hands, causing the ground to surge, and vines suddenly rose up, tightly controlling the Wind Spirit Wolf. "Ouch!" Wind Spirit Wolf roared unwillingly. Tian Rui thought again, and another vine rose from the sky, hitting Wind Spirit Wolf's abdomen like a whip. Crack! A ferocious bloodstain appeared on the wolf's belly. The Wind Spirit Wolf did not cry out in pain, but stared at Tian Rui with cruel and playful eyes. "Oops, the beasts are behind us." When Wang Jun's scream sounded, Tian Rui's face instantly turned pale, realizing that the purpose of this Wind Spirit Wolf was not to kill them. but to delay time and let the beasts get closer. The monster in this secret realm actually still delays tactics. It has become a spirit. Wang Jun screamed in depression, and Tian Rui felt sad in her heart, knowing that the beasts were approaching and they could no longer escape. They might be eliminated and withdraw from the actual combat exam early. Just when she was extremely desperate. Suddenly. Wow! A touch of golden light shines on the side, as dazzling as the scorching sun. Tian Rui turned around to look, with disbelief written all over her face. I saw a young man wearing ordinary sportswear, his whole body filled with brilliant golden light like fire, charging fiercely into the herd of beasts. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The young man swung his arms and punched continuously. Every time the golden fist flashed, a monster flew high to the ground due to the huge impact, and died suddenly. In less than a moment, 5 monsters were beaten to death. Ho ho ho. The monsters ignored the young man at first, only looking at Wang Jun and Tian Rui. But as more and more companions died, they rushed towards the boy angrily. Ta 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 ta, ta 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 ta. The ferocious attacks of monster beasts fell on the young man. Of course, the young man blocked with both hands, motionless as a mountain. There were no shocking wounds on his body, nor did he fall to the monster's sharp claws. Instead, he suddenly swung his arms to repel a bear monster, then his lower body sank, and his punch landed like a cannon on the bear monster's chest. Bang! Click! The thick fat and hair did not protect the bear demon's body. Its 3-meter-high muscular body suddenly fell to the ground, suppressing a smaller wolf demon. With a whimper, the wolf demon was crushed to death. The boy followed up and punched the giant bear in the chest again. Crack! The giant bear's sternum was broken, it vomited blood, its eyes turned white, and it died suddenly. Such a bloody scene made the other monsters stop in their tracks and look at the young man with strong fear in their eyes. It turns out that the giant bear that the boy killed was only a first-order alien beast, but it was also the strongest among the beasts. A leader-like existence. The young man killed the giant bear in seconds, undoubtedly catching the thief first and frightening them all. Ha ha, so refreshing. The young man smiled, and while his body was still shrouded in golden light, he rushed into the group of beasts again, his fists were like cannons, and he started killing. Oh my god! Not far away, Wang Jun and Tian Rui were completely shocked. This ferocious young man is exactly the master brother they met outside Spark City. But how long has it been since? Brother Master seems to be getting stronger again. It's okay to withstand the bites and claws of monsters without being broken. Can you always kill monsters instantly with just a random punch? Is this kind of uncanny valley strength of both offense and defense really just for candidates in the same class? Are you sure he is not an official warrior who came from the 8 great universities? Other side. Under Li Sufeng's killing spree, one after another the monsters died violently, and in the end there were only 6 monsters left. The fact that these 6 monster beasts survived was not due to luck. But they were smart enough to instinctively distance themselves from Li Sufeng. They did not blindly become cannon fodder. Ouch! A wind spirit wolf clamped its tail, let out a cry, and fled deep into the grassland, ignoring the corpses on the ground. When the other 5 monsters saw this, they naturally ran away. How long will you two be in a daze? Stop these monsters quickly. While Tian Rui and Wang Jun were still shocked, Li Sufeng's voice suddenly sounded. Tian Rui woke up quickly and formed a seal with her hands. Stop. Swish. There were vines rising from the feet of the 5 fleeing monsters, binding their waists, abdomen, and limbs like ropes. The monsters that were caught off guard were tripped and fell to the ground. Taking advantage of this gap, Li Sufeng rushed over and beat them all to death with fists and fists. It's a pity that one of them was let go. After the killing, Li Sufeng looked into the distance, still feeling regretful. Tian Rui's mouth twitched. You killed 99% of the beasts, and only one escaped. Is that a pity? You are simply a monster butcher. On the top floor of a magnificent office building inside No. 1 middle school, hundreds of people gathered here, all of whom were familiar figures in Spark City. The old man sitting at the head was wearing a tang suit. His face had deep wrinkles like a knife, and a scar spread from the corner of his eye to his chin, making him look hideous and terrifying. Astonishingly, he is the number 1 figure in Spark City, the city lord Shu Sifang. Xu Sifang stared at the LCD screen at the end of the conference hall and nodded frequently. This college entrance examination, our Spark City is really full of talents. The huge LCD screen of more than 200 inches now displays 4 split screens. In one screen, Lan Aoshui, whose neck is as white as a snow lotus, is walking under the iceberg. Monster beast's eyes are emitting strange blue light, and they are killing each other under her control. On another screen, Shu Kai, the number 1 in the second middle school, was covered in scales, and his nails were as long as daggers. He was flashing around among a group of monsters. In less than a moment, the group of monsters was chopped into pieces. The remaining 2 split screens also have geniuses slaying monsters in different ways. There is also a ranking in the upper right corner of the LCD TV. First, Shu Kai killed 34 monsters and scored 198 in the exam. Second, Sun Yu killed 31 monsters and scored 184 in the exam. Third, Lan Aoshui killed 25 monsters and got a test score of 172. Fourth, Zhuang Tianqiang killed 21 monsters and scored 156 in the exam. The top 4 were all well known throughout the city before the exam and were the hottest candidates for the top spot. It is indeed not surprising to achieve such results. If this trend continues, maybe someone from our Spark City can compete for the provincial top prize this time. The Minister of Education looked forward to it. Do you want to save the number 1 spot? It's very difficult, but for now, it seems that Shu Kai still has a chance. City Lord Xu Sifang smiled and nodded. Suddenly, the ranking in the upper right corner of the screen has changed. First place, Li Sufeng killed 46 monsters and scored 230 points in the exam. Quote. Such a sudden change stunned the city lord and the Minister of Education. The other big guys present also stared in astonishment. Isn't the first place Shu Kai? Why was it suddenly replaced by Li Sufeng? Who is Li Sufeng? What's going on with the director? Why haven't you switched to Li Sufeng's perspective? In the hall, the principal of No. 1 middle school stood up and roared. A 5th split screen appeared on the LCD TV, in which a young man wearing Putong sportswear appeared. There were corpses everywhere around him, but the young man was sitting on the ground and resting. Li Sufeng killed so many monsters. Why didn't the director track his perspective in time? The Minister of Education frowned, feeling dissatisfied. The principal of No. 1 middle school had cold sweat on his forehead. He shouted decisively to save the situation. Replay Li Sufeng's perspective. Soon, time goes backwards. The screen showed a scene of Li Sufeng hunting a herd of beasts. I saw that his body was bathed in golden light, and he was attacked by a group of beasts without any confusion. Every punch he delivered could always kill a monster beast accurately. This process of killing monsters made all the bosses in the field wide-eyed. Not to mention talent and strength, isn't his ability to hunt monsters a little too smooth? Yes, every punch of his can hit the weak point of the monster accurately. He obviously has a lot of experience in killing monsters. Also, the layer of golden light bathed in his body seems to be a natural talent. It should be a level. But the fact that he resisted the attacks of monsters without being injured probably didn't rely on this talent, right? He seems to have 2 talents, one for offense and one for defense. The big guys analyzed for a while, quickly figured out the clue, and then looked at each other in confusion. Even if he has dual talents, his physical control and demon killing skills are both top-notch. Why was such a person unknown in the past? Give me this information about Li Sufeng, shouted the Minister of Education. A staff member quickly came over with a tablet. After the Minister of Education read it, he looked at the principal of No. 2 middle school and said, Lao Yang, there is such a dark horse in your school, and you didn't say a word. That's not authentic. Everyone looked at the principal of No. 2 middle school, their eyes full of envy and jealousy. It turns out that this dark horse genius named Li Sufeng came from No. 2 middle school. Isn't there already Shu Kai in No. 2 middle school? Now there is another Li Sufeng. It's so prosperous. The principal of No. 2 middle school was a little confused. This was the first time he heard Li Sufeng's name. No one had reported it to him in the past. No, the information shows that Li Sufeng dropped out of No. 2 middle school and took the exam for Zhengqiang Gym. Lao Yang, What's going on? The Minister of Education looked at the tablet again and his expression became strange. Quitting out of school. This is impossible. The principal of No. 2 Middle School stood up excitedly. Although he had never heard of Li Sufeng, such a person must be a treasure of the school, and there was no reason why he would be allowed to drop out. See for yourself. The Minister of Education handed the tablet to the principal of No. 2 Middle School. After seeing the bottom column of Li Sufeng's information, it showed the information, withdrawn from the second middle school, Zhengqiang Gym substitute candidate. The principal of No. 2 Middle School's eyes darkened and he almost fainted on the spot. Who the hell let this Li Sufeng drop out of school? I'm going to kill him. Trial examination room plain. After a battle, Li Sufeng, who had used his talent for a long time, was seriously exhausted and was sitting on the ground to rest. Kill 46 demons and get a test score of 230 points. Taking the time to take a look at the bracelet, Li Sufeng was quite satisfied. It's only been an hour since the exam. He got half of the full score. This is off to a great start. Take another look at the personal panel. Talent points have been accumulated to 2,700 points. Very close to the 3,000 mark. Brother Master, come and drink nutritional potion. Wang Jun, the licking dog, handed over a nutritional potion with a flattering expression. Li Sufeng was not polite and drank the nutritional medicine. Because this exam lasts 24 hours. The Ministry of Education does not prohibit candidates from bringing nutritional medicines, energy pills and other recovery supplies. Take nutritional supplements within the rules. Brother Gao Shou, it's a God-given fate that we can meet in the examination room. How about we form a team? Wang Jun showed an expectant expression. Li Sufeng shook his head and said, if I form a team with you, my exam points will be divided. It's not cost-effective. Suppose a monster has an exam score of 5 points. Teaming up with one person to kill the monster, Li Sufeng can only score 2.5 points. For one more teammate, the score will be reduced by 1/3. Teaming up with others can indeed increase the efficiency of monster spawning, but accordingly, test points will also be taken away. With Li Sufeng's ability, there is no pressure to defeat the beasts alone. Except for his best friend Kai Shu, he naturally had no interest in leading anyone. Brother Master, please don't. My awakening is an auxiliary talent, and my combat power is not very high. It's too difficult for Sister Rui to lead me alone. You can just do it. How about you lead me? Wang Jun begged with a sad face. Li Sufeng asked curiously, what is your talent? Last time in the wild, the two Zhang brothers helped somewhat. Wang Jun was paddling the whole way. Li Sufeng didn't know the specifics of his talent. My talent is the same as yours, Brother Master. It is also a light system, but it is AB level light of recovery. Wang Jun raised his hand as he spoke, and there were walnut-sized balls of light floating on his 5 fingers. It looks very similar to Li Sufeng's initial skill, optical flow. But it is full of holy atmosphere. Brother Master, if you are injured, the light of recovery I release can quickly stop your bleeding and repair your injuries. Wang Jun showed a wry smile. Li Sufeng was secretly surprised. Auxiliary talents are actually very rare. Although this type of talent does not have much combat effectiveness, it can be used to assist other warriors. On the frontal battlefield, this type of talent seems to be of little use. In fact, warriors with such talents are indispensable in the logistics teams of various countries. This type of warrior is also called an auxiliary warrior, and his position in a team is like a nanny. I didn't expect that this little fat guy like you would be an auxiliary warrior. It's quite rare. Li Sufeng sighed, and Wang Jun smiled expectantly and said, my talent is not only auxiliary, but also belongs to the light attribute, and Brother Gao Shou's talent belongs to this family. Brother Gao Shou, for the sake of such a strange fate, you can take me with you. The words have not yet fallen. Li Sufeng shook his head directly, I refuse. Brother Master. No. Wang Jun was about to cry. Tian Rui looked around and lowered his voice. Brother Gao Shou, if we give you a commission like last time, can you help us? Li Sufeng's expression softened a bit and he said casually, what's the price? Tian Rui compared the numbers. Only 50,000. Li Sufeng shook his head immediately. This is the college entrance examination that determines the destiny of life. With their help, the two of them might be able to get full marks. Want to change your destiny with only 50,000 yuan? No way. No, no, no. Brother Master, we also know that the actual combat assessment is very important, and it may change our life's destiny. Of course we can't just get such a small amount of money. Tian Rui shook her head repeatedly and added, the price we offer you is 500,000. Nani? Li Sufeng stared. It seemed that he underestimated these rich second generations. Without parental consent, they can casually spend $500,000 to buy themselves off. How inhumane. Li Sufeng glanced at the drone floating in the sky and did not choose to bargain, saying, deal. Thank you, Master Brother. Wang Junxi smiled broadly, while Tian Rui whispered, although our behavior is cheating, it is also protected by the law. When it is over, I will transfer the money to you. You can record our conversation. She is very thoughtful in order to build deep trust. I've already recorded it. Li Sufeng made random remarks. That's fine. Tian Rui nodded, then clicked on the bracelet. Tick-tock. A line of team formation information came from Li Sufeng's bracelet. He clicked OK and the message prompted that the team formation was successful. At this point, Li Sufeng, Tian Rui, and Wang Jun are teammates in the secret trial realm. In the future, the test points obtained by killing monsters as a team will be divided equally among the three people. Let's go and continue killing monsters. Li Sufeng waved. Hey, Brother Master, from now on, you are our leader. You say you want us to go east, but we will never go west. You say you want me to eat shit. We will never drink urine. Wang Jun turned into a licking dog again and licked wildly. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Li Sufeng was speechless, saying in his heart that you really have no ambition. But then I thought about it. The Ministry of Education allows students to form teams for practical exams. Presumably it is to take care of auxiliary warriors like Wang Jun. Because the combat power of talents is relatively low, it is difficult for people like Wang Jun to have the monster spawning efficiency of other talents. Their participation in the actual combat assessment is a natural disadvantage, and only by forming a team can this disadvantage be eliminated. Time flows like water. It's dusk in the blink of an eye. At this time, 4 hours have passed since the practical exam. Desert area west. One by one, black poisonous scorpions, which were completely black, like forged steel, and were half a meter in size crawled all over this area. Viewed from a high altitude, these black scorpions gathered in large groups and turned into a huge black cloud, which looked very penetrating. When Li Sufeng and the others arrived near the scorpion group, Wang Jun looked horrified. Brother, these rattle-tailed black scorpions are not as poisonous as the ivy snakes, but their tail ends can fall off like bee stings, and they can even turn into flying scorpions. What's even more terrifying is that there is probably a second-level scorpion queen in the scorpion group. Second-order scorpion queen. Li Sufeng's eyes brightened. The last time he killed the second-level demonic beast saber-tooth tiger, he got an extra talent reward. He still had more to learn from the marrow and tasted it. If I kill this second-level scorpion queen this time, can I get new talents? Wang Jun, if I am injured or poisoned, can you use the light of recovery to help me? Li Sufeng asked seriously. Wang Jun scratched his head, a little unsure. General trauma is not a problem. I can also get rid of ordinary toxins, but I may not be able to deal with poisons that are too strong. That's enough. I'll go hunt the scorpions later, and you can throw some blood back to me depending on the situation. As for Tian Rui, you can create vines to control them for me. Li Sufeng is also considered a fan of online games in Blue Star, and he has quite a lot of experience in fighting monsters, brushing up the base, and team allocation. Brother Gaosho, don't worry, I will be the man behind you. Wang Jun rubbed his hands with excitement. The man behind it. Why does it sound weird? Li Sufeng muttered something and rushed towards the scorpions with a swish sound. When the scorpions that were climbing heard the movement, they all turned around and stared at them with pairs of dark, cold, dead eyes. The scorpion tail, which is like a long whip and has a silver poisonous needle, is raised high, and as it shakes, it makes a squeaking sound like a rattlesnake. Pong! As Li Sufeng approached the group of scorpions, a layer of golden light suddenly rose up on his body. With the support of his powerful innate power, his speed increased sharply. With a swish sound, he fell into the scorpion group. The scorpions were restless, and the black scorpions rattled and stung Li Sufeng with their tails. When Li Sufeng used the violent light, he did not forget to use the golden and jade skin. The skin was tight and hard like soft armor made of leather. With the sound of ta-da-da, it actually blocked the attacks of most poisonous scorpions. Only some fine white spots appeared on the skin, and the skin was not broken by the stings. Bang, bang, bang. Just like the beasts before hunting, Li Sufeng used the skylight long fist. Each punch was powerful and heavy, like a meteorite falling from the sky. He could always flatten a rattle-black scorpion. Blood and poisonous juices mixed and spattered. There were more than 10 scorpion corpses on the ground. That's when, in the sound of Kai, Li Sufeng looked down and found a 10-centimeter poisonous needle inserted into his shoulder blade. It turned out to be a rattle-tailed black scorpion not far away, using a long-range flying needle to break Li Sufeng's defense. The flying needle of this rattle-tailed black scorpion can actually break through my golden skin. Li Sufeng was shocked to feel that his shoulders had become stiff. It was the scorpion poison spreading in his body and starting to affect his body. Brother Master, let me help you. Wang Jun raised his hand and threw out a light of revival, which landed precisely on the wound on Li Sufeng's shoulder. Bite. The flying needle landed, the blood hole healed, and Li Sufeng's stiff shoulder gradually regained consciousness. Is this Wang Jun's auxiliary talent? It's a bit magical. Li Sufeng nodded secretly, gave up the idea of retreating, and continued to rush into the scorpion group, rampaging. In the following time, black scorpions died in Li Sufeng's hands one after another. But correspondingly, Li Sufeng also paid a certain price. There were more than 10 scorpion needles inserted all over his body, and his body became stiff and sluggish under the influence of scorpion venom. Fortunately, Wang Jun is a very capable guy. He gives Li Sufeng a sip of milk from time to time, not only to heal wounds and remove toxins, but also to keep Li Sufeng's condition in a stable range. Brother Master, I'm a little out of energy. The good times did not last long, because Wang Jun's face turned pale due to long-term use of his talent, and his movements were full of weakness. The battery life is so short. Li Sufeng frowned. At present, less than 1/3 of the scorpion group had been eliminated. Without Wang Jun's milk support, it would be unrealistic to wipe out the scorpion group. Outsiders cannot be relied upon after all, you have to rely on yourself. Li Sufeng's eyes narrowed and he immediately looked at the golden jade skin on the panel. System, upgrade me to golden jade skin. Unknowingly, the talent value on the panel has accumulated more than 3,500 points, but there is no upgrade plus sign behind the talent crazy light. Li Sufeng had no choice but to give up his original plan and temporarily upgrade his golden skin. Consume 1,000 talent points, and the B-level talent golden jade skin is upgraded to the A-level talent mad crocodile skin. Personal constitution plus 5. Crocodile skin, a superhuman talent. The skin of the whole body is like the monster beast sky crocodile. It is not only extremely tough, but also has strong resistance to sharp weapons, and is also fire resistant and cold resistant. Good. As the system prompts flashed by, Li Sufeng's eyes became very bright. The A-level talent, Mad Crocodile Skin, on the basis of the original, not only has tougher skin and stronger defense, but also has certain fire and cold resistance functions. This is to allow yourself to go further and further on the road to indestructibility. Try the effect. Without thinking too much, Li Sufeng focused on his whole body, causing his skin to naturally tighten. Da. Just as the scorpions were restless, flying needles stabbed Li Sufeng's skin. But this time, Li Sufeng's skin was not pierced. Instead, the scorpion needles, which were comparable to iron nails, hit Li Sufeng's skin and then curved and fell to the ground. This A-level defensive talent can indeed resist the poisonous scorpion's flying needle. Li Sufeng's heart was ecstatic and restless, and he said without thinking, System, continue to improve me and improve the Tianguang Chengquan. Consume 500 talent points, and Tianguang Long Fist will be upgraded to perfection. Personal physique plus 1. Li Sufeng, who was already on top, was in a hurry to destroy the scorpion swarm. He ignored financial management, and continued to consume his talent points, maxing out the Tianguang Long Fist. Because Tianguang Chengquan is not yet a spiritual level physical skill. Therefore, the upper limit of the realm of boxing is perfection. A more profound memory of Tianguang Chengquan flooded into his mind. Li Sufeng was surprisingly active in his heart and punched instinctively with his hands. Hu ho ho, bang bang bang. With full attack power, Li Sufeng not only punches faster, but the power of his fists is also more ferocious. The speed at which the scorpion swarm is destroyed has also increased significantly, visible to the naked eye. And finally, under Li Sufeng's crazy killing, the number of scorpions has dropped to a quarter of its original size. Because of the tragic death of their compatriots, the remaining rattle-tailed black scorpions have developed a deep fear of Li Sufeng and instinctively reject approaching Li Sufeng. Li Sufeng was already on his head, and he spread his legs to kill the remaining rattle-tailed black scorpions. The sound of squeaking sounded continuously. The tails of black scorpions rattling like drills broke through the ground, and they continued to escape to the ground with their bodies. He was actually scared away. FK, don't run, Li Sufeng roared anxiously, improving his talent and physical skills, and he had already spent 1,500 talent points. The remaining rattling black scorpions are not only test points for Li Sufeng, but also valuable talent points. Li Sufeng didn't want to let go of any of it. Brother Master, watch your step. While pursuing, Wang Jun's voice came from behind. Li Sufeng subconsciously lowered his head and saw that the sand beneath his feet was broken open, and a black scorpion tail like a long whip came out of the ground and stung one of his eyes. FK, what the hell? Li Sufeng's pupils shrank and his hairs stood up. Under the control of his desire to survive, he instinctively stepped forward and jumped back like a bird, barely escaping the attack of the huge scorpion tail. Clatter. After landing, Li Sufeng's face was full of fear. He looked at the position where the scorpion tail emerged and was shocked. Scorpion Queen. But he saw a 2-meter-long rattle-tailed black scorpion appearing on the yellow sand in the sky. Her tail is as thick as a baby's arm and nearly 1 meter long. The scorpion needle at the end is sharp and pointed, more like a dagger than a needle. Look at its huge eyes, dead black and without any emotion, just staring at Li Sufeng coldly. Squeak, squeak, squeak. As the tail of this huge rattle-tailed black scorpion shook, it suddenly opened its mouth and spit out a drop of dark green juice the size of a fist. Whoosh! Li Sufeng jumped sideways and escaped the attack. Zzzz. The juice fell into the sand, melting the sand into water with the hot smoke. The saliva of this scorpion queen is extremely poisonous. It's so perverted. Not far away, Wang Jun screamed depressedly. Tian Rui also shouted, Brother Master, this scorpion queen is a second-level monster. Fighting it is very risky. How about we avoid the limelight for now? Li Sufeng spent the entire afternoon clearing monsters, allowing her and Wang Jun's test scores to accumulate to over 200. According to this efficiency, as long as you continue to hunt for first-order monsters, it will not be difficult to get full marks before the end of the exam. Fighting with second-level monsters can certainly get more points at once. But there will also be a corresponding higher risk of elimination. Tian Rui felt that since this was an exam, he could plunder the exam points. Instead of fighting with powerful monsters to avoid getting into trouble, take shelter from the limelight for a moment. Tian Rui, do you know how long I have been waiting for this scorpion queen? Li Sufeng's face showed a playful smile, and his eyes were full of passion as he stared at the scorpion queen. It's as if this thing is no longer a monster, but a gorgeous naked beauty. Brother Gao Shang, you. Tian Rui looked surprised, but when she heard a swish sound, Li Sufeng turned on the violent light again, turned into a line of light and shadow, and flew towards the scorpion queen. When she reacted, there was a bang, and Li Sufeng's fist covered with golden light fell hard on the scorpion queen's body. Bang! Li Sufeng's powerful and heavy punch, if it had been an ordinary rattle black scorpion, would have been smashed out of juice, and he would have died suddenly. It landed on the scorpion queen's back, but only made a dented fist mark. The scorpion queen did not die from this punch. Instead, she stung Li Sufeng in the chest with her long scorpion tail. Bite. With the protection of the crocodile skin, Li Sufeng's skin has long been as tough as soft armor. Even though the strength and penetration of the scorpion's rear end are several times that of the ordinary rattle-tailed black scorpion, it did not penetrate Li Sufeng's skin. Swish, swish, swish. However, the powerful impact also made Li Sufeng take several steps back before he could stand firm. Looking at the location where the tail needle stung him, a purple bruise appeared. Not only does this scorpion queen have outstanding defense, but its attack power is also fierce. Li Sufeng marveled, but was not nervous. He shouted to Tian Rui behind him, "Tian Rui, wrap this scorpion queen with your vines and create a chance for me. I will blow out its eyes." "Okay, master brother." Tian Rui took a deep breath and formed a seal with her hands. On the ground where the scorpion queen was, wood elements condensed into 4 vines, trapping the scorpion queen's body. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The scorpion queen was furious, her tail trembling continuously. Li Sufeng was about to take advantage of the victory and pursue the attack, when a humming sound sounded not far away. Immediately afterwards, a figure approached like a ghost, and his arm was like a knife and fell on one of the scorpion queen's eyes. Puff! One of the scorpion queen's eyes was directly cut open. When the blood flowed violently, it made a shrill cry of squeaking. After breaking free from the vines, the scorpion tail angrily stung at the sudden figure. The figure reacted extremely quickly and quickly retreated to avoid the scorpion tail. After standing still, it transformed into a young man wearing a silver battle suit. The young man is not tall, but his hands and feet are extremely long, and his whole body is covered with a layer of romantic energy. "I, Sun Yu, want the head of this scorpion queen. You leave quickly." The young man in silver turned around and shouted at Li Sufeng and the others. Wang Jun's face changed slightly. "Sun Yu, the number 1 in the 6th middle school." Tian Rui's expression was ugly. It is said that this person defeated all the invincible players in the 3rd grade of the 6th middle school. What he awakened is the S-level talent, Wrath of the Wind. Not only can he be accelerated by the wind, but he can also summon wind blades and control the wind elements to condense into swords. Weapons, very powerful. She turned her head and suddenly found that Li Sufeng's face was as cold as 10,000 years of ice, terrifyingly cold. "Brother master." Tian Rui was about to say a few words of comfort, but Li Sufeng's body flashed with golden light. When the fierce light was fully activated, he turned into a scorching sun and rushed directly towards Sun Yu. David Sun Yu was surprised and subconsciously raised his arms. The wind gathered in front of him and turned into a physical shield. Boom! There was a shaking sound, and the wind collapsed. Sun Yu stepped back continuously, and his arms felt as if they had been hit by a hammer. They were so swollen and painful. This guy's power. Sun Yu's eyes widened with horror on his face. But Li Sufeng did not pause. After breaking through the wind shield, he continued to pursue, and his fists continued to hit like cannonballs. Hu ho ho! Every punch rubs against the air, creating a hunting style. Sun Yu's expression changed drastically. He took advantage of the wind to wrap around his body and kept retreating as his speed suddenly increased. Wind talent often symbolizes sharpness and speed. The more powerful the talent characteristics are, the more obvious they are. Sun Yu's ability to control the 6 middle schools relies on the rapidity brought to him by the fury of the wind. However, at this moment, Sun Yu was surprised to find that the young man bathed in golden light in front of him was not much slower than him. What's even scarier is, the young man chased him all the way, and every punch was extremely fierce, like a meteorite falling from the sky, which made him breathless. Sun Yu retreated all the way and tried his best to escape, but could not escape the pursuit of the young man. Bang! Finally, Li Sufeng's punch landed on Sun Yu's shoulder. With a click sound, Sun Yu's shoulder blade was dislocated, flying high in the air, crossing a parabola and landing on the sand. "Are you crazy?" Sun Yu reluctantly climbed up and stared at Li Sufeng with horror on his face. "If you dare to snatch my wild monster, you must be prepared to be beaten to death by me." Li Sufeng roared and continued to rush towards Sun Yu. "Stop, I won't argue with you anymore. I'll give this scorpion queen to you." Sun Yu screamed with palpitations and stepped back repeatedly. With his temper, he shouldn't be so cowardly. The main reason is that the momentum displayed by Li Sufeng is too intimidating, like a madman who ran away from a mental hospital. It made him a little overwhelmed. He also secretly regretted why he had offended Li Sufeng. You want to run away after pretending to be cool. It's already too late. Li Sufeng looked ferocious as he dived closer. You lunatic, I will fight with you. Sun Yu was furious. He was a genius with S-level talent after all, and his patience was already at its limit. Now that Li Sufeng is pushing the envelope, he certainly doesn't intend to be a coward anymore. Hu ho ho. A large amount of romance enveloped his whole body, and Sun Yu was about to take action. Unexpectedly, Li Sufeng was extremely fast, and before Sun Yu could counterattack, he punched him in the face. Bang! Click! With the sound of bones breaking, Sun Yu turned into a kite and fell to the ground again. This time, he did not get up again, but his eyes turned white, his whole body twitched, and he passed out directly. Not far away, Wang Jun and Tian Rui were stunned at the same time, looking at Sun Yu's bloodthirsty, swollen face like a pig's head. Brother Gao Shang actually knocked Sun Yu unconscious with one punch. FK your mother. Angry curses rang out, but Li Sufeng walked up to Sun Yu and raised his arm, intending to hit the latter in the face. Brother Gao Shang wants to kill Sun Yu completely. This is too cruel. Wang Jun and Tian Rui's mouths twitched at the same time. At this moment, Sun Yu's bracelet began to flash red, and then a voice came. Examiner Sun Yu fell into a coma and was determined to be eliminated. Candidate Li Sufeng, please stay calm and do not continue to attack Sun Yu, otherwise it will be regarded as a violation and expelled from the examination room. The huge fist stopped midway, and Li Sufeng's face turned pale. Are the people above not allowing him to continue educating Sun Yu? It's too domineering. A white light flashed in front of him, and a man wearing an examiner's uniform suddenly appeared. He picked up Sun Yu, looked deeply at Li Sufeng, then held a jade stone, and the two of them suddenly disappeared from the spot. If the examiner hadn't stopped me, I would have beaten Sun Yu to Shang. Li Sufeng looked unwilling and continued to curse. Brother Master, you defeated Sun Yu, the number 1 in the 6th middle school, and one of the favorites to win the first place in the college entrance examination. You are so fierce. At this time, Wang Jun came over and shouted excitedly, only missing from kowtow to Li Sufeng. Tian Rui's expression changed slightly and she said, the Scorpion Queen seems to want to escape. Hearing this, Li Sufeng turned around and glanced around, only to realize that during the fight between him and Sun Yu, the cunning Scorpion Queen had her eyes blown out and realized the crisis, so she was actually trying to escape towards the ground and wanted to run away. Tian Rui. Li Sufeng roared. Tian Rui reacted quickly and formed seals with his hands. A series of vines came out along the ground, binding the Scorpion Queen's body. Before it could burrow into the ground, Li Sufeng had already arrived in a flash, and then smashed the Scorpion Queen's head with both fists. Bang bang bang, click. Finally, after a fierce attack, the Scorpion Queen's head was completely blown away, and she lay motionless on the ground, obviously dead. After killing the rattle-black scorpion, your personal talent value will be plus 500. The system prompt flashed by, but there was no joy on Li Sufeng's face. Why didn't you get the talent? Is it because the Scorpion Queen is too weak for me now? Also, this explosive talent also depends on probability. Full of disappointment, Li Sufeng looked at the place where Sun Yu had been lying, and cursed, this fool must be so moldy that he infected me, kill him. In this way, I greeted Sun Yu's whole family. Chapter 31. Conference Room. Because of Li Sufeng's emergence, a fifth split screen has been added to the huge LCD screen, and the protagonist is naturally Li Sufeng. After seeing Li Sufeng and Tian Rui team up, the Minister of Education frowned. Does Li Sufeng not know that he currently ranks first in the actual exam? If he forms a team with others, the exam points he will get will be reduced. Isn't this harming his own interests? City Lord Shu Sifang smiled and said, maybe he has his own considerations. The scene changes. Li Sufeng had already rushed into the scorpion group and fought against many rattle-tailed black scorpions. I saw a scene of black scorpions being smashed by Li Sufeng. The eyes of many big guys became brighter and brighter. Someone shouted, I can be sure that this Li Sufeng has definitely hunted monsters in the wild. Yes, his fighting skills are very skilled. Each of his punches can accurately hit the weak spot of the rattletail black scorpion, causing an instant kill effect. This is definitely something he has practiced. This guy's combat experience is really outstanding. While the big guys were discussing, an assistant took a report to City Lord Shu Sifang for review. This child's talent is A-level, his mental strength is 17.6, but his comprehension score is 192. He is the highest scorer in comprehension in this year's college entrance examination in Spark City. As Shu Sifang spoke in surprise, everyone was even more surprised. Outstanding fighting skills. Mental strength is pretty good too. Although his talent is low, his martial arts understanding is incredible. Taken together, Li Sufeng is definitely an out-and-out genius. Why did such a genius drop out of No. 2 middle school? Why did he join the Zhengqiang gym? Buzz buzz. As the gazes hit him one after another, the principal of No. 2 middle school turned crimson and almost fainted. He could feel that the eyes of his colleagues were full of strangeness. It was obviously a mockery of him for letting go of a genius like Li Sufeng. The second lieutenant colonel endured the heartache and took out his cell phone to send messages to his subordinates. I also learned about the entire process from reports from my subordinates. The teacher of class 222 is such an idiot. He let a super genius like Li Sufeng go. I will definitely punish him afterwards. The principal of No. 2 middle school, whose heart was cut by a knife, silently swore in his heart. Soon, the picture changes again. The Scorpion Queen appeared, and Li Sufeng fought with her, but failed to gain the upper hand. At this moment, another genius in the split screen also accidentally discovered the Scorpion Queen. It's Sun Yu from number 6 middle school. He is currently ranked 3rd in the actual rankings. Who didn't expect that he would bump into Li Sufeng? Will sparks fly between the two? In the expectant eyes of the big guys, Li Sufeng really went to war with Sun Yu. When he saw Sun Yu being beaten violently by Li Sufeng and unable to fight back, the big guys were shocked. Sun Yu, an S-level genius, was so suppressed by Li Sufeng, who was only A-level, that he couldn't breathe. How could the gap between these two people be so huge? At last, when Sun Yu was completely beaten by Li Sufeng and eliminated early, the big bosses looked calm, but in fact their hearts were in turmoil. Sun Yu, the favorite for the number 1 pick, unexpectedly lost to the dark horse Li Sufeng. He was directly eliminated. This will undoubtedly affect Sun Yu's final test score. It may even prevent him from being admitted to the top 8 universities. Crack. The conference table was suddenly slapped violently. When the bosses went out looking for reputation, they saw the principal of No. 6 middle school getting up angrily. This Li Sufeng has bullied others too much and has bad moral character. He is a typical trash student with talent but no morals. Such a person will definitely not be able to participate in this sacred examination. It's a stain on our education system. The big guys looked speechless for a while. What he said was so sanctimonious and shameless. To put it bluntly, it was not because Sun Yu from your school was eliminated early. Before, when Sun Yu was bullying other candidates in the secret realm, why didn't he see you speak? Old Wang, stop. On the other hand, the city lord Shu Sifeng spoke, and his gentle words made the principal of No. 6 middle school feel a little nervous and quickly regain his composure. His face turned red and he sat down, feeling as if needles were pricking his heart. It's because of this Li Sufeng. Their 6th middle school suffered heavy losses this time. It has only been a short time, and Li Sufeng's score is close to 300. I am very curious about the number of monsters he finally killed, and whether he can break the historical record, fulfill the requirements set by Senior Sun back then, and get the treasure left by his old man. A special reward. Under the silence, Shu Sifeng smiled and spoke, his eyes full of expectation. The Minister of Education remained calm. It is too difficult to break Senior Sun's record. What's more, I still think that the strongest player in this session is Shu Kai. If he meets Shu Kai, Li Sufeng's chances of winning are not very good. The speculation is just speculation. We have to fight to know the real result. Maybe Li Sufeng can defeat Shu Kai. Shu Sifeng smiled, and the Minister of Education said nothing more. A group of people once again locked eyes with Li Sufeng's perspective. Time turns. The exam went late into the night, with the moon obscured by clouds. There is darkness between heaven and earth, and candidates' vision is limited, so they often choose to act cautiously. Some people will even find places to hide in caves, treetops, etc. to avoid attacks by monsters. But not Li Sufeng. Li Sufeng missed the Scorpion Queen, and his anger almost overflowed. Even at night, they still led Tian Rui and 2 people to hunt for monsters without stopping. Brother Master, my test score is close to 400. Let's get up tomorrow morning and brush it up. We should be able to get full marks. How about we take a rest first? After hunting some more monsters, the exhausted Wang Jun smiled bitterly. Tian Rui also agreed with deep understanding. Brother Master, as Wang Jun said, should we take a rest first? Li Sufeng stopped when he heard this and looked at his watch. Killed 127 demons and scored 460 points in the exam. The test score is only 65 points away from the full score. If nothing unexpected happens, if we find another group of beasts to eliminate, we will basically be able to complete the full score. Li Sufeng was quite satisfied with this and shouted, let's set up camp on the spot. Long live! Wang Jun shouted excitedly and simply lay down on the ground, gasping for air. Tian Rui took out the flint and lit it with some weeds picked up on the road, and a small campfire was born. Relying on the campfire, Tian Rui took out dry food from his backpack and took it, not forgetting to pass some to Li Sufeng. Li Sufeng chewed dry food while checking his personal dashboard. Li Sufeng. Realm. Awakening level 0. Physique. 33. Spirit. 17. Talent. Crazy Light A level. Crazy Crocodile Skin A level. Exercise. None. Physical skills. Tiangguang Chengquan Perfection and Iron Pile Skill Proficient can be deduced. Talent value. 3,760. On the panel, the physique has exceeded 33 points. Because of the arrival of the crocodile skin, there are also deducible options behind the iron pole kung fu. Due to the accumulation of talent points again, it is close to 3,800 points. By the end of this exam, I should be able to accumulate 5,000 talent points. By then, it should be enough to upgrade the violent light, right? Li Sufeng looked expectant. With only A-level talent, his combat power can already defeat geniuses like Sun Yu. If his talent is upgraded to S-level, wouldn't he be able to fight a few opponents like Sun Yu? I look forward to it just thinking about it. It's late at night. The campfire burned faintly. Li Sufeng and the 3 of them fell asleep soundly around the fire. Suddenly, stop chasing me. A shrill cry came from the distance. Wang Jun jumped up excitedly. Is there a monster coming? Tian Rui rubbed her eyes in confusion. It's not the roar of a monster, it's the cry of a human being. Who is making a fuss in the middle of the night? Only Li Sufeng had a strange expression. Brother Chicken. The voice in the dark night sounds familiar. Does it sound like Brother Chicken? Brother Chicken. Brother Master, what are you talking about? Wang Jun was puzzled by this. Let's go over and have a look. Li Sufeng didn't explain, got up and rushed towards the source of the sound. Tian Rui and the 2 looked at each other. Although they were confused, they did not hesitate to catch up. Brothers, I have no enmity with you, why are you doing this? In a forest less than half a mile away from the camp, Kai Shu leaned against a big tree, looking miserable. In front of him, more than 10 candidates wearing different combat uniforms were all furious. Fat man, before I even took the exam, you pushed me and made my hands numb. Now I want to take revenge on you, can't you? That flaming ostrich was almost killed by me, but you were lucky enough to kill it as soon as you made a move. Isn't this robbing me of my head? Fat man, you are so mean, can't we work together to deal with you? The candidates who came after him obviously had enemies with Kai Shu inside and outside the secret territory. Brother, there are many people outside the school, and I am weak. I can't enter the examination room without talent. As for the matter of snatching monsters, there are so many monsters in this secret realm. Isn't it true that the head of a person belongs to the most capable? My behavior is legal and compliant, otherwise the Ministry of Education would have eliminated me long ago. Kai Shu explained loudly. A candidate came gearing up and said, Fat man, no matter how many excuses you come up with, it's useless. I won't beat you to tears this time. My surname will no longer be Hu from now on. Brother, what does your happiness have to do with me? Kai Shu looked miserable, and the student was furious. If you dare to mock my accent, I will kill you. The words fell. He used his talent, and one of his arms instantly turned into black gold, and struck Wang Jun in the face like fine iron. Bang! Kai Shu raised his hands to block. Although he escaped the fatal attack, his fists were unable to defeat the four-handed attack and he was quickly knocked to the ground. Bang 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 bang. The crowd's punches and kicks came from all directions, which made Kai Shu miserable. Stop! Just when Kai Shu was desperate, a sharp shout sounded. All the candidates subconsciously stopped and turned around, seeing a tall young man walking towards them in the dark night. Old Li. Kai Shu's body trembled, and he burst into tears. If you had been a second later, I would have been beaten to death. So you are this fat guy's friend. The candidates realized the identity of the visitor, and one of them said with a livid face, Li, this fat guy was beaten up by us, and it's his own fault. If you dare to interfere, then don't blame us for not being a guest. The words have not yet fallen. But there was a whoosh sound. The dark forest suddenly became as bright as day. Li Sufeng was seen bathed in golden light and rushed into the crowd at high speed. How dare you? The expressions of all the candidates changed. They did not expect that Li Sufeng was so crazy and dared to take the initiative when we were outnumbered. Kill him! Someone roared and kicked Li Sufeng in the waist and abdomen. Li Sufeng did not fall as expected. However, this man was hit hard and his feet slipped and fell to the ground. Before he could get up, golden light suddenly flashed and a fist landed hard on his cheek. Bang! The examinee didn't have time to scream, his eyes turned white, and he passed out directly. The bracelet on his wrist released a layer of red light and a sound sounded. Candidate Lu Jin lost consciousness and was eliminated. What? Such a turn of events left the other candidates stunned. In just one face-to-face meeting, this guy named Li eliminated one of them. Bang bang bang. Several muffled sounds were heard in succession, and when everyone was shocked, Li Sufeng struck out with a vigorous and resolute approach, knocking down many candidates to the ground in succession. After these candidates fell to the ground, they were all seriously injured. Only half a minute, 7 of the more than 10 candidates who were chasing Kai Shu had fallen to the ground. There were only 5 people still standing, and they had lost the courage to fight, and kept retreating in panic. Classmate, we have something to discuss, please calm down. The candidate surnamed who was originally unreasonable, became more reasonable and persuaded with a look of panic. Li Sufeng did not pursue, but pulled Kai Shu up from the ground. Brother Ji, are you okay? Ooh, Lao Li, something's wrong with me. I'm covered in wounds and it hurts like hell. Kai Shu pointed at these candidates, with a sad expression on his face like a student complaining to his parents, these fools, just because they are jealous of my talent and handsomeness, have united to hunt me down and make me suffer humiliation. Lao Li, you have to revenge for me. Question mark question mark question mark. All the candidates were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. Fat man, where did you get your handsomeness and talent? If you weren't too mean, why would we join forces to hunt you down? How shameless. The corners of Li Sufeng's lips raised, amused by Brother Ji's words. Brother Ji, of course you have to do things personally to be happy, so just go ahead and do it, and I will be the man behind you. Quote. Old Kai Shu blushed and realized that old Li was mocking his rhetoric before the exam. Lao Li, we are all brothers. I have to share the pleasure of torturing people with you. Can we do it together? Kai Shu asked weakly. At this time, Wang Jun and Tian Rui arrived and realized the general situation. Brother Gaosho, this college entrance examination is related to the fate of many students. If they are eliminated, there may be trouble if the teachers who invigilate the exam are dissatisfied. Tian Rui comforted in a low voice. Kai Shu glanced at her sideways and wondered who was this woman. Why do you look so close to Lao Li? A sense of crisis swept through his body. Kai Shu put his arms around Li Sufeng's shoulders and said in a pretentious manner, as this beauty said, I, Kai Shu, don't want to ruin anyone's future, but you just humiliated me and you have to give me a slap before I can leave. Quote. Kai Shu, don't go too far. The candidate named whose face turned red. Kai Shu waved his hand and said, if you don't agree, let's do it. Anyway, my good brother is here, either you die or we die. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. The corners of the candidates' mouths twitched. If Kai Shu was alone, they would have pounced on him like a tiger and killed him to death. But Li Sufeng is here. This student is as strong as a monster and is definitely on the same level as Shu Kai and Sun Yu. How can ordinary candidates compete? All the candidates couldn't help but wonder. When did such a fierce man appear in Spark City again? However, he is still the best friend of the Kai Shu. A man is capable of bending and stretching. Everyone, come here and let this big brother calm down. Wang Jun began to act as a peacemaker and took the initiative to draw the candidate named Hu closer. Crack, Kai Shu slapped the candidate named Hu on the face and couldn't help but scream, "It feels so good. It feels so good." The candidate named Hu had red eyes and was about to cry. Pap pap pap. Then the 4 candidates were slapped by Kai Shu one after another, and Kai Shu was trembling with excitement. The candidate surnamed Hu looked at Li Sufeng with tears in his eyes. "Can we go? Let's go." Li Sufeng waved his hand, and the candidate surnamed Hu helped the injured but not eliminated candidates to leave quickly. Although it was night, the conference hall was still full of people. As a true warrior, sleepless nights and basic fasting are the basic abilities. Therefore, the city lord and others did not leave, but continued to monitor the exam. Who is this Kai Shu? Is he too capable of causing trouble? Fortunately, Li Sufeng restrained himself, otherwise all these candidates would have been eliminated by him. Li Sufeng's combat prowess is too outstanding. Has he become a preparatory warrior? Becoming a preparatory martial artist before the college entrance examination. It's a pity that the 8 universities don't know about this, otherwise one of the universities would definitely offer an olive branch to Li Sufeng. Early morning. The sun fills the secret realm. Beside the extinguished campfire, Li Sufeng just stood up and found that Wang Jun and Kai Shu were hugging each other and sleeping soundly. Tian Rui has woken up and is looking into the distance with a solemn expression. Hearing Li Sufeng's movement, she immediately said, "Brother Master, the vibrations in the depths of the desert are obvious. This is definitely not something that a single monster can create. Maybe there is a wave of medium-sized monsters over there. Medium-sized beast tide. Doesn't it mean that there are at least 500 monster beasts gathered there?" Li Sufeng's eyes lit up. A gathering of less than 100 monsters is called a herd. When more than 300 monster beasts gather together, it is called a beast tide. The size of the beast tide can also be divided into small, medium, large, extra large. A medium-sized beast tide, with a size of at least more than 500 monsters. How much talent value can a beast tide of this size bring to me? Full of expectation, Li Sufeng shouted to the sleeping 2 people, "Brother Ji, Wang Jun is up." "What's wrong? Is the exam over?" Kai Shu opened his eyes, confusion written on his face. Wang Jun's jumped up. "Isn't there a monster attacking us? There seems to be a tide of intermediate beasts over there. This is a great opportunity for us to spawn monsters. Get ready to rush there," Li Sufeng urged. Wang Jun looked shocked. The textbook says that low-level beast tides are enough to threaten real warriors, while intermediate-level beast tides and above require at least 10 formal warriors to deal with them. Kai Shu was also slightly worried. Yes, Lao Li, even if the monsters in this secret realm have been weakened, they are still monsters after all. It is very dangerous for so many of them to come together. Li Sufeng disagreed. There are too few demonic beasts, and it is useless to kill them. Only this medium-sized beast wave can arouse some fighting spirit in me. Okay, you two, keep up. With that said, he headed towards the direction of the beast tide. Wang Jun looked at Kai Shu and asked cautiously, "Is your brother usually this crazy?" "When I was 5 years old, I dominated the kindergarten. When I was 7 years old, I swept through the elementary school. When I was 12 years old, I was invincible in all the junior high schools. If I dared to compete with Huang for my sister, my brother was always fierce." Kai Shu boasted and looked excited. If he dares to take the initiative to find the beast tide, he will definitely be able to handle it. Let's just follow him and mix up the points. Let's go. On the sand 5 miles from the camp, monster beasts gathered here one after another, forming a black tide of beasts that crowded the entire horizon. When Li Sufeng and 4 others arrived, hundreds of candidates had gathered outside the beast wave. For candidates, although the beast tide is dangerous, it also comes with opportunities. If you are lucky, you can score hundreds of points at least. Therefore, many candidates are willing to take risks. Isn't that Zhuang Tianqiang, the number 1 in our 3rd middle school. Is that Fang Ryu from No. 7 middle school, and Chen Feixiang from No. 1 middle school. I didn't expect this beast tide to attract so many masters. As soon as they arrived, Wang Jun and Kai Shu looked at some candidates on the periphery of the beast wave and couldn't help but discuss. Lan Aoshui and Shu Kai are also there. Kai Shu pointed at the man and woman standing side by side on the edge of the beast tide. The boy is wearing a black Taoist uniform, and his burly figure is like an iron tower, giving him a tough temperament. The girl is slim and graceful, with white skin and beauty, like a green lotus on a high mountain. Li Sufeng also noticed the two of them, with a strange expression in his eyes. The only two S-level geniuses in the school are actually here too. Is this small beast wave really enough for us to divide? He looked up and saw a huge beast tide, at least 1,000 monster beasts gathered together, which was obviously more than Tian Rui's estimate and close to a high-level beast tide. The number of monsters seems to be very large, but with so many candidates present, it seems a bit insufficient. Let's do it. Li Sufeng didn't say anything nonsense, rolled up his sleeves and rushed directly towards the beast tide. At this time, on the edge of the beast tide, many candidates have united and are fighting against the monsters. Suddenly, with a whoop sound, a strong wind blew by, disturbing many candidates. They looked along and saw a figure rushing into the beast tide. Who is this kid? So crazy. With the cooperation of dozens of us, we only dare to test the edge of the beast tide. How dare he rush into the beast tide alone? Does this mean you don't know how to write the word death? What a madman. The candidates were shocked, but they also felt that this student was surrounded by beasts and his life would be in danger if he could not hold on for too long. Who knows? Ho 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 ho. Ding 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 ding. As the beasts roared, there were constant crashing sounds. One after another, the monsters pounced on the young man. Strangely, the boy did not die suddenly under the attack of the monster's minions. Instead, his skin glowed with a cold sheen, blocking all the monster attacks without any damage. Drink. The young man roared, enduring attacks from all directions and pushing forward. Every time he took a step, a fist light would blast out. With a booming sound, a group of monster beasts retreated and fell under the attack of the fist light. It takes a few breaths. Dozens of monsters have been beaten to death by the young man. What? All the candidates who were originally negative were stunned. So be it Shu Kai and Lan Aoshui. Zhuang Tian is as strong as Yu Chen Feixiang. These top geniuses, faced with such a ferocious tide of beasts, were just testing the waters on the periphery. But this young man was lucky. He rushed into the beast tide alone and didn't die. Instead, he killed so many monsters. As this guy, a monster. The monster that gave us a headache was actually killed like a dog by him. Which school is he from? After just one meeting, these candidates were impressed by Li Sufeng and no longer dared to say anything sarcastic. Kill the Sky Moon Rat, talent value +20. Kill the Kangmang Leopard, talent value +20. Kill the Snow Mountain Marten, talent value +15. In the tide of beasts, system texts kept flashing before his eyes, which made Li Sufeng even more excited. He couldn't remember how many monsters he had killed. I only know that every time I punch, there are always system words flashing before my eyes. The wonderful thing is that in team mode, his test points will be divided among 3 teammates. But talent is not worth it. Any monster he kills has a talent value unique to him. So just a few minutes. He has accumulated more than 400 talent points that can be seen with the naked eye. It's so exciting. Keep killing. When the beast tide is over, my talent value will be at least over 10,000. Li Sufeng roared in his heart and turned on the violent light of his talent. Without using the crazy light, I just relied on the crazy crocodile skin and skylight long fist. His lethality has made the beasts miserable. As the violent light turns on, it is blessed with 20 times the power and speed. Li Sufeng turned into a ray of light as he approached, running around in the tide of beasts. Wherever he went, the beasts flew high and died suddenly when they landed. Time passes. Because Li Sufeng killed too fiercely here, the number of beasts began to decrease sharply. The beast tide is no longer just a scattered operation. Because of the death of their companions, many monsters began to rush towards the area where Li Sufeng was. This caused the monsters in other directions to start to retreat. Huh, why have all these monsters escaped? I'm in the middle of a killing spree. Why are you running away? In the northeast corner of the monster tide, Fang Ryu, wearing twin ponytails and yoga pants, had just kicked a monster to death and found that the other monsters that originally besieged her were retreating. On the side, Chen Feixiang, who was covered in blood, looked into the distance and saw the western area of the beast tide. The beast heads were moving, the golden light was shining, and from time to time, a monster flying high into the sky. It seems that all the monsters are heading in that direction. Chen Feixiang pointed in the direction of the shining golden light. What happened there? Did you lure all the monsters away? Fang Ryu's face was full of confusion. I don't know, let's go and take a look first. Chen Feixiang made a swish sound and rushed towards the direction of the beasts. Hey, Chen Feixiang, wait for me. Fang Ryu stretched out her arms and shouted, but Chen Feixiang ignored her at all. She was so angry that she was stamping her feet when there was movement behind her. She turned around and saw Shu Kai and Lan Aoshui coming hand in hand. You two are actually here too. Fang Ryu took a step back, her expression becoming wary. Fang Ryu, I have no interest in bullying someone as weak as you like Sun Yu, so you don't have to be nervous. Shu Kai sarcastically made Fang Ryu's face red and angry. Shu Kai, even if you are number 1 in the 2nd middle school, I, Fang Ryu, am also number 1 in the 7th middle school. Why do you call me weak? Because I'm stronger than you. If you don't accept it, fight. Shu Kai grinned and released a fierce aura. You. Fang Ryu's face turned even redder, but she did not dare to accept the challenge. Shu Kai's talent is very strong at this stage, most suitable for physical skills, and his combat power far exceeds hers, Fang Ryu. If you want to force a fight, you will definitely lose. Shu Kai, please stop saying a few words. Lan Aoshui said something and looked at the direction where the monsters were heading. No wonder there are fewer and fewer monsters in our area. It turns out they all went to the west. What exactly is there in the west? She was deep in thought. No matter what it is, just go and take a look and you will know. Shu Kai went in the direction of Chen Feixiang. Fang Ryu, would you like to come together? Lan Aoshui issued an invitation. She didn't think that a beast tide of this size could be eliminated by just a few people. She would have to join forces with other powerful people. Lan Aoshui, okay. Fang Ryu took Lan Aoshui's hand. Actually, I have heard of you a long time ago and like you very much. You are much more beautiful than the photos on the internet. Lan Aoshui smiled. You are also very beautiful, but have you seen Sun Yu these days? Sun Yu, I saw him at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, but I don't know now. Fang Ryu shook her head and asked again, what are you looking for Sun Yu for? Shu Kai wants to find him and fight him alone to see who is stronger. Lan Aoshui explained. Oh, it turns out that it is this narcissist who wants to find Sun Yu, but it is Lan Aoshui. Are you and this narcissist a lover? He is not worthy of you. Fang Ryu looked serious, and Lan Aoshui rolled her eyes. You are overthinking. Shu Kai and I are actually distant relatives. We happen to be from the same family, so we are just temporarily joining forces. That's fine. A toad like him is not worthy of a swan like you. Fang Ryu stuck out her tongue. While the two women were talking, Chen Feixiang and Shu Kai appeared in front of them. Both of them stood there with surprised expressions on their faces, as if they had seen something extraordinary. What are you two doing? When Fang Ryu came to the two of them, she clearly saw a figure not far away near the center of the beast tide, standing proudly among the beasts, unyielding. Covered in brilliance, the man was like a human god of war, constantly charging under the siege of the beast tide. Boom boom boom. The shaking sound continued. Every time the figure punched out, there was an aura that shook the mountains and rivers, causing all the beasts to fly to death. In an instant, Fang Ryu was completely confused. She never expected that the tide of beasts would be triggered by one person. Li Sufeng. On the side, Lan Aoshui's eyes widened and she exclaimed. This master's name is Li Sufeng. Is he from your No. 2 middle school? Lan Aoshui, do you know him? Fang Ryu looked at Lan Aoshui curiously. Lan Aoshui's expression was extremely complicated. Although some news these days had proved that the school's awakening ceremony was wrong, Li Sufeng was not a waste, but a genius. But now, seeing Li Sufeng galloping among the beasts, killing all the beasts without leaving a trace, she was still greatly shocked. Although she and Shu Kai were S-class, they had to be careful when facing a beast tide of this size. They did not dare to take risks and go deep into the beast tide for fear of being eliminated in the attack of the beasts. But, however, Li Sufeng ignored the threat of monsters and rushed into the center of the beast tide. Under the attack of monsters from all directions, he was unscathed and could easily kill the beasts. Such strength is simply beyond imagination. How can this guy be so strong? At this time, Shu Kai gradually woke up, with shame and unwillingness on his face. His S-level talent is Dragon Gene, because it is easier to develop in the early stage, is more compatible with physical skills, and has strong combat power. That's exactly what it is. He believed that at this stage, none of the other S-level geniuses in the city could compare with him. He is the well-deserved number one. But now, Li Sufeng appeared out of nowhere and slaughtered animals. Such a shocking act put Shu Kaidu under a lot of pressure. My dragon gene is invincible at this stage. I will only be stronger than this Li Sufeng, not weaker than him. I want to prove myself. Shu Kai's expression instantly turned firm. He took off his combat uniform, revealing his strong upper body. Pieces of fine scales grew on the skin and soon covered the whole body. It was like he was wearing a layer of dragon scale armor. Shu Kai, what do you want to do? Lan Aoshui's face changed slightly, realizing that Shu Kai might be on his way. Lan Aoshui, this top scorer in the college entrance examination is mine. You can't take it away. Chen Feixiang can't take it away. And Li Sufeng can't take it away either. Shu Kai roared and jumped more than 30 meters high. Long, after falling into the herd of beasts, his legs with dragon scales crushed the bones of a monster beast to pieces. The impact caused by the landing made the surrounding monsters retreat one after another. I, Shu Kai, am the top pick. Glancing at Li Sufeng not far away, Shu Kai's hands covered with dragon scales were like knives, waving wildly in the tide of beasts. Chi 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 chi, chi chi chi. One after another, the monsters were chopped into two pieces under the knife in his hand. In less than a moment, Shu Kai also slaughtered dozens of monsters. HMPH, if this happens, I, Chen Feixiang, can no longer keep a low profile, otherwise my limelight will be stolen by these two people. How can I still hang out in the future? Chen Feixiang, whose face was gloomy and uncertain, had flesh and blood crawling on his back, bursting out of his suit and turning into a pair of wings covered with blue feathers. Whoosh! Chen Feixiang instantly soared into the sky, his wings flapped, and the green feathers fell like sharp blades, nailing them into the bodies of the monsters. Oh, because this Li Sufeng is too strong, has everyone opened the book? Lan Aoshui, should we take action too? Fang Ryu also adjusted at this time, her face full of fighting spirit. Take action. Lan Aoshui nodded, and her pupils suddenly turned blue. Immediately afterwards, several nearby monsters began to attack other monsters around them, their eyes emitting strange red light. Fang Ryu also laughed playfully, and Rui patted her in the air. In the sound of crash, the elemental energy of the space turned into a wave and rushed into the beast tide. I didn't expect that Li Sufeng's brave performance would actually inspire other geniuses to fight. This exam is about to reach its climax. Dark Horse Li Sufeng, number 1 favorite Shu Kai, the only flying genius Chen Feixiang and special admissions student Lan Aoshui, who will have the last laugh. It's such a stellar college entrance examination. I'm actually a little excited. In the huge conference room, as the war in the secret realm intensified, the big bosses from all parties were all red-faced and looked expectant. Because they hold high positions and are far away from the battlefield, and because of old age and physical injuries, their combat effectiveness is no longer what it once was. But they are warriors after all, and they also have the most basic competitiveness of warriors. On this occasion, their withered passion was completely ignited by the blooming of geniuses. Old Wen, who do you most expect to win the championship? In front of the long table, City Lord Shu Sifeng looked at the Minister of Education with a smile. The Minister of Education thought for a while and said, "It's still Shu Kai. You don't think Li Sufeng can beat him?" Shu Sifeng was surprised. Li Sufeng's strength, understanding, and experience are very strong, but his talent is still a bit low. The Minister of Education said calmly, "Shu Kai's Dragon Gene ranks among the top 5 in S-level talents. Especially in the early stages, it is basically unsolvable. His one talent exceeds Li Sufeng's two talents. As long as he performs normally, he has no problem. The reason was lost to Li Sufeng. Old Wen, I didn't expect that after so many years of cooperation, we actually have different opinions for the first time. Xu Sifeng's words surprised the Minister of Education. City Lord, do you think more favorably of Li Sufeng? Of course, because this child reminds me of Senior Sun. Senior Sun won the championship even though his talent was not as good as others, and created a world-renowned record. Xu Sifeng was speaking, and the Minister of Education shook his head directly. No, Senior Sun's understanding and will are unparalleled in the world. Li Sufeng is an outstanding talent, but it is impossible to compare with him. He can't beat Shu Kai. Quote, Old Wen, since you are so confident, let's make a bet. If Shu Kai wins, I will fully support your next policy, no matter whether it is good or bad. And if Li Sufeng wins, you will have to collect the pot of the devil's blood. Give me the wine. How? Xu Sifeng had a bright smile on his face. The Minister of Education thought for a moment and nodded. Okay. Trial Secret Realm. The Land of Beasts. Li Sufeng still continued to kill. But as he kept killing, he felt that the number of monsters around him became smaller. Such a large-scale beast tide shouldn't be wiped out so quickly. Why are the number of monsters around me decreasing rapidly? After the battle, Li Sufeng raised his head and saw a young girl in the distance, scolding Fang Chu and killing the monster. One of the young men was wearing scale armor, and his demon-killing efficiency was almost as good as his own. Shu Kai and Lan Aoshui are actually here. Are they trying to steal my wild monsters? These are all my talents. How could they be taken away by others? Li Sufeng suddenly became furious, ignoring the monsters around him, and rushed towards the nearest person. What does Li Sufeng want to do? Above the beast tide, Chen Feixiang, who was flying with his wings, noticed Li Sufeng approaching with his peripheral vision. His expression was very surprised. The monsters here are all mine. You, leave. Li Sufeng came under Chen Feixiang, ignoring the roar of the monster and glaring at him. Are you crazy? All the monsters in the secret realm are part of those who see them. Why do you have the honor to take them as your own? Chen Feixiang almost burst out of anger, not to mention that a beast tide of this scale was simply not something that one person could handle. Let's just say that Chen Feixiang is a genius. Why is he so threatened by Li Sufeng? It's all about my fists. If you want to try it, I can help you. Li Sufeng's eyes were as bright as a torch, releasing a breathtaking aura. Do you think I will be afraid of you? Chen Feixiang's expression was furious. Li, you don't think you really mean anything. The words have not yet fallen. But there was a whoosh sound. Suddenly a golden light appeared in front of his eyes, and Li Sufeng suddenly appeared. What? Chen Feixiang stared. With the help of his wings, he flew at a height of 30 meters. That is to say, Li Sufeng pulled out his legs and jumped 30 meters into the air. Is this the kind of bounce a human being can have? Call. The fierce fist wind roared. Chen Feixiang woke up quickly and saw a fist coming towards him and hitting him in the face. No. Chen Feixiang was frightened in his heart and flapped his wings, trying to escape from this high altitude. But it was a beat late. Bang! A fist as hard as a rock hit his face hard, causing him to fall to the ground outside the beast tide, and then stopped after sliding for tens of meters with a face break. Then, the wings behind Chen Feixiang disappeared, and he passed out. What? Some students peeped at the battle while killing monsters. But I didn't expect that the conflict would end just as it started. Li Sufeng knocked Chen Feixiang unconscious with one punch. This is too scary. Oh my god. Lao Li, you are so fierce. Are you even a human being? We are all carbon-based organisms, why do you stand out? Behind the herd, Kai Shu stared at his bracelet and found that the test score was close to full marks. He was very excited. Seeing his best friend punch Chen Feixiang violently, he felt even more happy. Wang Juns and Tian Rui looked at each other, even though they had witnessed Li Sufeng's power again and again. But they never expected that Li Sufeng could really beat the favorite to win the championship. It's so cruel. It's so incomprehensible. Clatter. Li Sufeng fell to the ground from a high altitude and created a stream of air, flying away the surrounding monsters. Bang bang bang. He didn't stop and pushed forward, knocking away many monsters along the way and heading towards Shu Kai. Not even a punch. Soon, a girl with twin ponytails and yoga pants appeared in front of her. Li Sufeng felt that the girl looked familiar and guessed that she was probably the #1 scholar in a certain middle school, so he shouted, "Sister, all the monsters here belong to me. If you don't want to lose your appearance, just leave." I thought the girl would resist, but she said with bright eyes, "Classmate Li, you are so domineering, I will listen to you, and I will leave right now." Quote. When Li Sufeng was stunned, the girl smiled and said, "My name is Fang Ryu, from No. 7 Middle School, and I have long been impressed by your feat. When the college entrance examination is over, can we add a contact information? I admire a strong person like you." As he spoke, peach blossoms appeared in his eyes, as if he wanted to eat Li Sufeng alive. Quote. Li Sufeng was speechless, but he nodded and said, okay, please step back first." "Okay, brother Sui Feng." Fang Ryu shouted sweetly, crossing her long legs and running towards the outside of the beast tide. "What a good girl who knows herself." Li Sufeng sighed, and suddenly felt a strong wind coming from behind his head. Turning around quickly, he saw a strange black shadow approaching at an indescribable speed. In the sound of "hoo," the fist covered with fine scales hit Li Sufeng's chest. "Pain. It hurts. Pain like never before." Li Sufeng hasn't felt such intense pain for a long time since he awakened the furious crocodile skin. He was certain that the force of the opponent's punch exceeded 20,000 kilograms. "It's almost as explosive as his." Dang stared. After taking a few steps back, Li Sufeng stood firm and saw Shu Kai, who was covered in scales, looking at him ferociously. "Li Sufeng, if you want Shu Kai to leave, I have to see if you can resist the beating." It turned out that after learning about Li Sufeng's purpose, he did not sit back and wait for death, but took the initiative to attack. Li Sufeng laughed angrily. "I have seen many monsters seeking death, but this is the first time I have seen a person seeking death. You are the one seeking death." Shu Kai roared, and appeared like a ghost again. The tips of his 5 fingers, with nails as sharp as blades, slid towards Li Sufeng's door. Iron pull skill. Crocodile skin. Li Sufeng roared in his heart and raised his arms to block. With a "chila" sound, 5 shocking blood stains suddenly appeared under his arm. Blood flowed, and Li Sufeng's expression darkened. Shu Kai laughed and said, "My nails can turn into dragon claws and shatter everything in the world. Do you want to show off in front of me with this rough boar skin? Dream on." Tisk tisk tisk. Then he struck repeatedly, his fingers all as sharp as knives. Every time he struck, he could leave faint blood marks on Li Sufeng's skin. Although the wound was not fatal, it was still painful, making Li Sufeng feel angry. Crazy light. As he screamed in his heart, golden light swept across his body, and Li Sufeng, whose aura surged 20 times, ignored Shu Kai's attack and punched him in the chest. Laugh. This time, Li Sufeng's chest sportswear was broken, and 5 new wounds were added. But Shu Kai also felt uncomfortable. Although his dragon scales have extremely strong defense, they are more effective than the crazy crocodile skin. But the impact of Li Sufeng's punch penetrated his body, causing his internal organs to shift a bit. "Li, if you only have this ability, you won't be able to hold on for long." Shu Kai endured the pain in his heart and smiled solemnly. "Then, don't give Li Sufeng a chance to breathe." He sprinted again. Boom 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 boom. Then the two launched a fierce attack, and neither of them knew how to write the word defense. 30 seconds later, the two of them stepped back. Shu Kai's body was covered with dense dragon scales, without any external injuries. Li Sufeng's body was covered with bloodstains, which was shocking. In contrast, the winner seems to have been decided. "City Lord, it seems you are going to lose." In the conference room, the Minister of Education glanced sideways at Shu Sifang. Unexpectedly, the latter was very calm and said with a smile, "The battle is not over yet, it is hard to say who will win and who will lose." The Minister of Education smiled and shook his head, as if he was sure of victory. "Trial Secret Realm. His fighting skills are on par with mine, and his physique is almost the same, but I can't break through his defense. To put it bluntly, his talent is still too high." Is this the strength of an S-level talent? It's really abnormal. The panting Li Sufeng stared at Shu Kai, but he was not very angry in his heart. His eyes fell on the personal panel. When I saw the talent value column, the number exceeded the 7,000 mark. Behind the talent of crazy light, there is a new plus sign. Li Sufeng grinned and laughed in his heart. I was so involved in killing monsters that I forgot that my talent value has reached the standard and I can upgrade to the violent light. System, upgrade me to the violent light. The next moment, the long-lost system text flashed across. Consume 5,000 talent points, and the A-level talent, Furious Light, is upgraded to the S-level talent, Great Sunlight. Personal Spirit plus 10. Great Sunlight. S-level light talent. Once turned on, the power speed can increase by 30 times. It has a certain physical body repair ability, and can control the light element ability between heaven and earth to fight. Regarding the various uses of talent, it enters the mind like instinct. For a moment, Li Sufeng's eyes opened wide and radiated bright golden light. His aura soared, as if the setting sun at dusk had risen again and turned into the hottest sun at noon. The unparalleled climbing momentum made Shu Kai feel awe-inspiring. What's going on? This guy's feelings for me have changed. What's going on? He still hasn't figured out what's happening. Li Sufeng suddenly punched. The two of them were obviously still 10 meters apart. But the fist shined brightly, and then crossed the distance and landed on Shu Kai's chest. Boom! There was an explosion, and Shu Kai's body flew high into the sky. After landing, he vomited a large amount of blood. He lowered his head and saw that the flesh and blood on his chest had become blurred, large scales were missing, and some were even blown off. How is this possible? Shu Kai's pupils shrank. It was clear that just now, he had suppressed Li Sufeng and beat him. But the next second, Li Sufeng's punch actually seriously injured him. In just a short moment, what kind of changes has Li Sufeng experienced? Wow! The wind roared in his ears. Shu Kai looked up and saw Li Sufeng, who had turned into golden light and flashed closer. His face was as ferocious as ever before, and his raised arms were like Thor's hammer that judged the people. No! Shu Kai screamed inwardly, but couldn't stop everything from happening. Li Sufeng's fist was like a violent wind and rain pouring down on him. In the sound of ta-da-da, Shu Kai was wrapped in severe pain and curled up into a shrimp shape, constantly convulsing and shaking. The sound of bones breaking continued to sound. Shu Kai's bones continued to break. In the end, he fell to the ground motionless like a dead corpse and fainted from the pain. On his wrist, a red light flashed, and a nervous voice came from the bracelet. Examinee Shu Kai fell into a coma and is considered to be eliminated. Candidate Li Sufeng, please stop attacking, otherwise you will be found to have violated the rules and your college entrance examination results will be cancelled. So far, Li Sufeng stopped and no longer looked at Shu Kai on the ground, but looked around with his head raised. Wherever his eyes went, countless demonic beasts were horrified. A monster trapped in a secret realm. Somewhat intelligent thinking. They could feel that the boy covered in dragon scales was as powerful as a demon. However, this young man with golden light was able to beat him violently until he fainted. The terror of its strength is evident. It also makes all monsters instinctively fear it. Oh my God! All around, countless candidates have fallen into a daze due to shock. Shu Kai. More than 80% of the college entrance examination top scorers identified by industry insiders were eliminated early. Just because he couldn't withstand Li Sufeng's fist and was crippled. How strong is this Li Sufeng? Shu Kai really lost. On the side of the beast wave, Lan Aoshui's beautiful eyes widened. She and Shu Kai were classmates day and night, so she naturally knew how terrifying Shu Kai was at this stage. I thought that Shu Kai had already won the top spot in Spark City. He can even compete for the top prize in the province. But he didn't expect that he would be eliminated by Li Sufeng in the middle of the actual battle. Li Sufeng was only able to defeat Tang Hu a while ago. Now you can beat Shu Kai violently. Why is this happening? In the huge conference hall, experts gathered together, but the atmosphere was extremely quiet. Just because the scene of Li Sufeng knocking Shu Kai unconscious was too shocking and beyond the imagination of the big shots. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly there was a burst of laughter. From the city lord Shu Sifang. He slammed the table and stood up, his face full of ecstasy. Okay. I didn't expect that after so many years, our Spark City would actually produce another super genius. God bless our Spark City. God bless our Dragon Kingdom. This exam is not over yet. But he can be sure that Li Sufeng has the strength to win the #1 prize in Spark City. Even if you are lucky, it may not be impossible for Li Sufeng to compete for the provincial champion. Old text. Xu Sifeng, who was laughing, looked at the Minister of Education on the side. The Minister of Education looked a little absent-minded. He still couldn't believe that Shu Kai would lose to Li Sufeng. And lost so miserably. After a long time, the Minister of Education lamented, "My vision was generally correct, Shu Kai is still a dragon. The only mistake I made was that I didn't see that Li Sufeng is also a dragon. It's still a true dragon that's unique among all people." Trial Secret Realm. As Chen Feixiang and Shu Kai were both eliminated, the two examiners quickly arrived here. Roar! A monster roared and wanted to attack the two examiners. Retreat! One of them raised his arm, and a powerful aura belonging to a warrior swept across the audience. In an instant, all the monsters froze, and the cruelty in their eyes turned into fear. They trembled in place and did not dare to move. The two examiners picked up Shu Kai and Chen Feixiang, took a deep look at Li Sufeng, and turned into white light and escaped. Li Sufeng, by eliminating that narcissist Shu Kai, you have avenged me. I will owe you a favor from now on. As soon as the examiner left, Fang Ryu rushed over with surprise written all over her pretty face. Also, you are really strong. What kind of talent did you awaken? What is your height and weight? What kind of girl do you like? How about mine? She chattered a lot. Li Sufeng's expression was speechless. Fang Ryu, you are still taking the exam. If you have any questions, please wait until the exam is over. Okay, Brother Sufeng, I will listen to you. Fang Ryu's cooing words made Wang Jun and Kai Shu, who were not far away, look at each other. After all, Fang Ryu is a proud daughter of heaven, but in front of Lao Li, she turns into a fool. Oh my god, I, Kai Shu, have never been treated like this in my life. Kai Shu looked sour. Wang Jun was quite envious. When will I be as charming and invincible as Brother Gao Shou and let women throw themselves into their arms? Brother Wang Jun, work hard to improve yourself. When you become as tough as iron, there will naturally be women lining up with their pouting eyes waiting for you. Kai Shu comforted Wang Jun, which can be regarded as self-encouragement. That's enough for you two. I'm still here. Tian Rui scolded to stop the two of them from continuing to talk nonsense. Ho ho ho. Because the two examiners left, the monster not far away entered a ferocious state again. They roared and rushed towards Li Sufeng, looking like they were going to fight him desperately. Okay, Fang Ryu, please step away. Li Sufeng shouted, and Fang Ryu obediently stepped back without forgetting to raise her pink fist high and shouted in a cooing voice, Brother Sufeng, come on. Li Sufeng was even more speechless, but he still shouted loudly, and the power of light in his body gathered on his arms. Tiangguang long fist. Roaring in his heart, Li Sufeng punched in the air, and the golden elemental power turned into fist light and fell into the group of beasts. With a boom, the golden light exploded, swallowing many monsters. When the golden light dissipated, one after another the monsters fell to the ground and died suddenly. Tisk tisk tisk. It is indeed an S-level talent. It not only brings explosive growth to my physical body, but also allows me to control the light elements hidden in the world, condense them into fist light, and kill enemies from a distance. Now, not only do I have extremely strong explosive power, but I also have long-range attack methods. Li Sufeng's eyes were bright. He was anxious about the battle situation just now, and after improving his talent, he didn't have time to savor it carefully. Now he calms down and observes the power of the new talent. Only then did he confirm that his combat power had increased at least 3 to 5 times on the original basis. Especially the ability to manipulate light elements to condense fist light. Make his attack methods more diverse. When encountering a strong enemy, you can avoid close combat and use your fist to blast away from a distance. Boom, 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 boom. Li Sufeng, who eats the marrow and knows the taste, uses the combination of the physical skill Tiangguang Chengquan and the talent of the great sunlight to constantly bombard the fist. On the one hand, you are killing monsters crazily, and on the other hand, you are testing the flying limit of your fist. Hundreds of monster beasts died on the spot under the light of the fist. Also, because of repeated tests, Li Sufeng tested the attack limit of the fist light, which was about 15 meters. The distance of 10 meters is the range where the fist light has the strongest lethality. The explosion effect of the fist light is almost equivalent to his most powerful punch. Can easily kill any first-level monster. Kill the flamingo, talent value +10. Kill the hurricane crab, talent value +20. Kill. As time passed, the originally large beast tide was reduced to less than 1/10 of its original size. These monsters, which were vicious and violent at first, are now in a state of panic because too many of their companions have died. They didn't care about attacking the candidates and fled deep into the desert. Don't run. Li Sufeng wanted to give chase, but due to the long battle, his energy and strength were severely consumed, and he was a little exhausted. Helpless, Li Sufeng could only stop and lift his watch. Killed 866 demons and scored 525 points in the exam. A long time ago, Li Sufeng's test scores were already perfect. Therefore, the monsters killed later can no longer increase his exam points. However, the number of demon slayers is still accumulating. At this time, there were 866 heads. My demon killing number should set a historical record in Spark City, right? Not bad. Li Sufeng nodded with satisfaction and opened his personal panel again. Li Sufeng. Realm. Awakening level 0. Physique. 33. Spirit. 27. Talent. Bright Sun S-Level Crocodile Skin A level. Exercise. None. Physical skills. Tiangguang Chengquan Perfection and Iron Pile Skill Proficient can be deduced. Talent value. 3,920. Above the panel, the A-level talent, Crazy Light, has long been replaced by the S-level talent, Great Sunlight. After a corresponding increase in mental strength by 10 points, it reached 27 points, narrowing the gap with physical strength. After accumulating talent points again, he still has nearly 4,000 points. That's enough. Li Sufeng nodded with satisfaction. Such a generous talent value was enough for him to learn new physical skills and exercises after the exam. A practical assessment that gives countless candidates a headache. But it turned out to be a huge opportunity, making Li Sufeng suddenly rich. It's a pity that there is only one beast wave in each assessment. In other words, there will be no new beast tide formed in the future. But it's very close to the end of the exam, right? The time displayed on the wristband came to 12 noon before I knew it. There are only 2 hours left until the end of the exam. Li Sufeng. A voice came from my ear. Li Sufeng turned around and saw Lan Aoshui approaching with a complicated expression. She seemed to have something on her mind, biting her lip, wanting to say something, but not knowing how to say it. Lan Aoshui, did you get full marks? Li Sufeng asked directly. Got it, Lan Aoshui responded. So, you won the top prize. Li Sufeng looked regretful, although he hunted 866 monsters. But the full score for the actual combat assessment is only 525 points. He was unable to break through this score limit, so his final total score was destined to not exceed Lan Aoshui. After all, this girl's understanding and spirit are too strong. A full 12 points higher than Li Sufeng. Certainly. Ruo Li Sufeng's cultural score is 12 points higher than Lan Aoshui. There is still a chance to win the number 1 pick in Spark City. But this possibility is not high. After all, Li Sufeng did all the questions in the cultural examination randomly. Lan Aoshui, who was usually careful and intelligent, could not get lower than him in the liberal arts exam. Li Sufeng, how many monsters have you killed? Lan Aoshui suddenly asked. 866 heads. It really exceeded that record. Lan Aoshui looked envious. What record? Li Sufeng was puzzled. I don't know the specifics. I just heard my father mention it. I came to take part in the college entrance examination. In addition to wanting to prove myself, I also wanted to break the record, but I failed. Lan Aoshui explained and smiled again. But anyway, Li Sufeng, I can congratulate you in advance on being admitted to the top 8 universities. Although the admissions of the 8 universities attach great importance to the total score. However, some candidates with outstanding qualities will also be exempted from admission. As far as Li Sufeng's talent for killing monsters is concerned, there is no second person in the entire Spark City. Even if his final score in the college entrance examination is not good, he will definitely be recruited by the top 8 universities. Congratulations on entering Tianwan University. Our lives will be long in the future. Let's meet in a bigger city. Li Sufeng smiled at this former deskmate. He still has a good impression. 1:50 p.m. In the sky above the 4 areas of the secret realm, huge enchanted light balls suddenly appeared. Only then did the candidates realize that the practical exam was over. My test score is only over 300, which is far from what I expected. I'm even worse off than you. My actual combat score is less than 230. I envy that Li Sufeng. Not everyone has the ability to kill monsters. Most candidates not only need to join forces with other candidates, but also need to go through a hard battle to have a chance of killing the monster. Even facing stronger monsters, after a hard battle, the monsters may not die, but they will be exhausted and forced to give up. So, the actual scores of most candidates are still the same as those of previous candidates, only 200 or 300 points. Those who can get 400 points are already very outstanding. Anyone who can score more than 500 points is either a genius with S-level talent, or a master with A-level talent and good physical skills. Is it time to leave? Under the iceberg, Li Sufeng stared at the light ball barrier a mile away, feeling regretful in his heart. After finishing the conversation with Lan Aoshui, he was not idle. He led Wang Jun and others to follow the footsteps of the beast tide to the land of icebergs. However, the beast tide dispersed everywhere, and Li Sufeng no longer had a chance to refresh himself. You can only find monsters to kill alone, and the efficiency is far less than before. But even so, Li Sufeng's final number of demons killed also reached 921. The talent value has also reached 4,860 points. It's just one step away from the 5,000 mark. The exam is about to end. All candidates are asked to return through the barrier before 2 o'clock. If you fail to return within the time limit, it will be considered a violation of the rules and 100 test points will be deducted. An examiner's voice resounded in the secret trial realm. As if facing a formidable enemy, the candidates didn't care about chasing down the monsters to gain points, and all went to the enchanted light ball to teleport away. Brother Sufeng, it's almost time for us to leave, right? A delicate voice came from behind. Li Sufeng turned around and saw Fang Ryu pouting cutely. Just now, after learning that Li Sufeng and Kai Shu formed a team, this girl decisively asked to join the team. Li Sufeng thought that he would get enough test scores anyway, so he agreed to let this girl join the team. However, in order to obtain more talent points, Li Sufeng set a rule that Fang Ryu was not allowed to kill the monster directly. At most, the monster can be injured or disabled. The final work of killing monsters was left to him, Li Sufeng. Fang Ryu had already received full marks, so she was very obedient and wounded some monsters. Because of this, Li Sufeng was able to harvest easily and gain points more quickly. Li Sufeng's subsequent examinations were so efficient, and this girl's contribution was indispensable. Okay, brothers, let's go to the barrier and teleport away. Li Sufeng took out his ring watch and sent messages to several teammates. He also immediately rushed to the barrier with Fang Ryu. On the playground of No. 1 Middle School, white light kept flashing. A famous candidate showed up. Li Sufeng and the other 5 also appeared on the playground smoothly. The Minister of Education appeared on the high platform. Around him, a series of big shots gathered. Among them was a kind old man with a bright smile on his face. Is it the Lord of the City? Wow, it's really the Lord of the City. I didn't expect that this college entrance examination would alarm even the Lord of the City. Many candidates recognized the identity of the old man and were immediately amazed. Li Sufeng had a strange expression. Is this city lord staring at me? Or is it my imagination? It can't be an illusion. Brother Sufeng, you hunted more than 900 monsters this time and set a historical record. It's hard for the city lord and others not to pay attention to you. Fang Ryu praised sweetly. Brother Sufeng, after this battle, you will be completely famous in Spark City. I hope that when you are glorious and prosperous in the future, you will never forget that at the lowest point, it was me, Fang Ryu, who never left you. I'm following you. God is so persistent. Fang Ryu, stop talking nonsense. It's me, Wang Jun, and Sister Rui who are following Brother Gao Shou all the way. They're not a guy like you who steps in halfway. Wang Jun shouted loudly. With a sweet smile, Fang Ryu squeezed out a sentence from between her teeth. Wang Jun, if Brother Sui Feng hadn't been there and I wanted to maintain a ladylike image, you might have been slapped to death. Wang Jun hurriedly hid behind Kai Shu. Brother Ji, help me. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Kai Shu, are you imitating Lao Li and calling me chicken brother? By the way, why did Lao Li call me chicken brother? Dear candidates, this practical assessment has been successfully concluded. Your total college entrance examination scores will be announced tomorrow morning. You can log into schwexen.com to check. At this time, the city lord Xu Sifang delivered a speech on behalf of the Minister of Education and announced the end of the college entrance examination. The cheers from the candidates also rang out on the playground. The college entrance examination is officially over. At the gate of No. 1 middle school, countless parents gathered like this. When the school door opened and students walked out one after another, the parents shouted loudly. When Li Sufeng and his teammates walked out, he unexpectedly received a message from his mother. Son, your dad and I are waiting for you outside the gate of number 1 middle school. Huh, mom and dad are here. Isn't dad at work? Li Sufeng was surprised, but he still said goodbye to Brother Ji and his group, and quickly rushed to the place mentioned by his mother. After a while, Li Sufeng saw his parents standing in the surging crowd. Little Win. Wang Wen rushed over and hugged him. She was so excited that she was completely speechless. Son. You can actually take part in the martial arts exam. Why didn't you tell your mother and me about such an important thing? Li Jianming asked, but he didn't mean to be angry. His eyes were red, his body was shaking, and he was very excited. Isn't this because I'm afraid that you two old ladies will be too nervous, so I will leave it at the end to surprise you. Fortunately, the result is not bad. Li Sufeng grinned. Mom and Dad, from now on your son will also be a top student at Wuhan University. Okay. Li Sufeng's face glowed with excitement. No man doesn't want his son to become a successful child. No man would refuse his descendants to honor their ancestors. Li Jianming is no exception. Young man, are you Li Sufeng? You did very well in the practical test this time. Congratulations. There were shouts from around, and it turned out that a parent recognized Li Sufeng. Immediately afterwards, more and more parents came with their children. Li Sufeng, you are really good. At such a young age, you can beat the crap out of those monster beasts. When you become a warrior, you will be able to lead our human race and suppress those monster beasts. Our dragon kingdom will have a new pillar. You too, you have raised a good son. Because the practical assessment was broadcast live, countless parents watched TV and witnessed Li Sufeng's performance. Listening to some parents praising themselves, although Wang Wen and Li Jian were happy, they were also somewhat ashamed. The son's growth is all due to his own efforts and has little to do with them. Little friend Li. At this time, a familiar voice sounded. Li Sufeng turned around and saw a black luxury car parked on the street outside the crowd. The door was open and Zhang Diyang was waving excitedly. Li Sufeng immediately pulled his parents into the car. When the car door closed, Wang Wen and Li Jianming were both a little confused. They have never been in such a luxury car in their lives. It can also be seen that Zhang Diyang must be an outstanding figure. My son is just a student, how could he know such a big shot? Mom and Dad, this is Gym Leader Zhang of Zhengqiang Gym. Li Sufeng saw that his parents looked confused, so he introduced them. The two elders looked even more shocked. Zhengqiang Gym has a good reputation in the surrounding area. It is said that the tuition fees are high and the students in the gym are either rich or expensive. The reason why I can take part in the martial arts exam this time is because Master Zhang gave me the status of a substitute examinee. Li Sufeng gave a brief introduction, and then the two elders understood the reason. It turned out to be without their knowledge. The son unexpectedly dropped out of school and joined the Zhengqiang Gym and got the chance to take the martial arts exam. Master Zhang, thank you for helping Zhaofeng. Li Jianming and Wang Wen expressed their sincere thanks. I should be the one to thank you too, because you have raised a good son, and our Zhengqiang Gym can also become famous through Li Xiaoyu's college entrance examination. Zhang Deyoung smiled and praised, then looked at Li Sufeng. Little friend Li, what are your comprehension scores and spiritual scores? 192 and 176. Li Sufeng's answer completely put Zhang Deyoung's heart at ease. With a score of 368 in 2 subjects, plus a full practical score of 525, and excluding the cultural score, your college entrance examination score is already 893, right? This has exceeded the score line of the top 8 universities. Great. Zhang Deyoung smiled, because he was too excited, and the aura of a warrior spilled out, causing the whole car to tremble. Seeing that Wang Wen and Li Jianming were startled, Zhang Deyoung immediately apologized. I'm sorry, you too, I was really excited and couldn't control my emotions. It's okay, it's okay. Li Jianming smiled and asked uncertainly. Master Zhang, what you just meant is that my son's test scores are enough to study at one of the top 8 universities. Yes, definitely, Zhang Deyoung answered decisively. Li Jianming and Wang Wen looked at each other, both of their eyes were red. That's one of the top 8 universities. The cradle of all martial arts masters in the Dragon Kingdom. Those who can graduate from the 8 universities are basically the elites in society. That is to say, their son has completed the feat of carp leaping over the Dragon Gate. Will we definitely become social elites in the future? Guangzong Yaozu. When the 2 elders were extremely excited, Zhang Deyoung took out his mobile phone and started tinkering. Drop. Li Sufeng's mobile phone received a text message notification. When he opened it, he saw that he had received a transfer of 300,000 yuan. Master Zhang, Li Sufeng was puzzled. Wasn't it agreed upon for 200,000? How did it become 300,000? Li Xiaoyu, this extra 100,000 yuan is my personal reward, please accept it. Zhang Deyoung said with a red face. Past. He didn't know Li Sufeng's family situation and thought that the latter's family was well off. But seeing the clothes of the 2 elders, I realized that Li Sufeng came from a humble background. With such a family background, it is easy for talented people to be ignored by everyone. But Li Sufeng rose up all the way, crushing a group of wealthy second-generation Wus. Such talent is beyond imagination, and future achievements are bound to be limitless. Appropriate generosity is an early investment and can create good relationships, so why not do it? Thank you very much, Master Zhang. Li Sufeng thanked him. He was already short of money. Coupled with his performance this time, he would undoubtedly bring a lot of traffic to Zhengqiang Gym. There is no psychological burden for charging an extra 100,000 yuan. Mom and Dad, our family is rich. Let's buy a bigger house when we have the chance. Now that the matter was over, Li Sufeng no longer hid the truth from the 2 elders and handed over the phone. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. The second elder was shocked by the deposit in Li Sufeng's account and was completely speechless. Under the escort of Zhang Deyoung, the family of 3 returned home successfully. Wang Wen was so excited that she took out her mobile phone and kept sending text messages. It is to report my son's achievements to the family group. Although Wang Wen and his wife usually keep a low profile, but hoping that their children will become successful is also their most sincere wish deep in their hearts. Now their wish has come true and their son has become their pride. Of course they have to make a splash. Li Jianming was not idle either. In a rare act of boldness, he distributed red envelopes among his co-workers. Brother, you are so great. Yu rushed over and hugged Li Sufeng's thigh. Li Sufeng picked her up and kissed her hard on the face. Brother, you stink so much. Li Jiaoyu showed a disgusted expression. Only then did Li Sufeng realize that because of the fierce battle, he had sweated profusely, was stained with some monster blood, and had a strong smell. After pinching his sister's nose, Li Sufeng went to take a bath before returning to the bedroom. As soon as I picked up the phone, I saw a text message. Your bank account has a deposit of 500,000 yuan in Longguo currency, and the available balance is 801,256 yuan and 77 fen. Is it Wang Jun and Tian Rui's commission? These 2 young rich people are quite happy to give money. Li Sufeng nodded secretly. According to his father, a deposit of 800,000 can almost buy a 3-bedroom first-hand house in a good area of Spark City. Now that the college entrance examination is over, I will take my 2 elders to look at the house when I have time. Let them live a middle-class life in the future. This night was a sleepless night for Wang Wen and Li Jianming. Li Sufeng slept soundly. The next morning, Li Sufeng immediately took out his mobile phone and went to Schwexen.com to check his score, and got an unexpected result. Candidate: Li Sufeng. Liberal Arts, 45 points. Comprehension, 192 points. Mental Strength, 176 points. Practical Assessment, 525 points. Total score of college entrance examination, 938 points. Ranked first in Spark City. What's going on? I'm actually number 1. Shouldn't the number 1 be Lan Aoshui? Li Sufeng stared at the phone for a long time, a little unbelievable. Lao Li, the results are released. You're the top pick. Congratulations to Brother Gao Shou for winning the top prize. Brother Gao Shou is forever a god. Brother Master, Wang Jun and I have already transferred the money. Congratulations on winning the first prize. The cell phone kept ringing. It was Kai Shu, Wang Jun, and Tian Rui who sent congratulatory messages one after another. Li Sufeng did not respond in a hurry. He clicked on Lan Aoshui in his address book and sent a message. Lan Aoshui, what is your liberal arts score? Lan Aoshui quickly responded. I did not participate in the liberal arts exam. Nani? Li Sufeng stared. No wonder his total score unexpectedly beat Lan Aoshui and won the first prize. It turns out that this girl didn't take the liberal arts exam at all. I just want to prove my martial arts ability and see if I can break the senior's record of hunting 801 monster beasts. Lan Aoshui explained, and Li Sufeng became even more confused. Li Sufeng, congratulations on winning the top prize in Spark City, but it seems that you are one step away from the provincial top prize. Lan Aoshui sent another message. She obviously knew the scores of candidates across the province through family insider information. Didn't you get the provincial champion? Li Sufeng was a little regretful about this, but he was not entangled. When he took the college entrance examination, his talent had not yet reached S-level, so his mental strength was naturally unable to compare with S-level geniuses, putting him at a disadvantage. In addition, his score in liberal arts was also very low because he did not review it. Under such a premise, it is already very good that he can still get the number 1 pick in Spark City. Chat with Lan Aoshui, Brother Ji and others for a while. There was a knock on the bedroom door. Xiao Feng, are you awake? There is a guest coming to see you. Guest. Li Sufeng opened the door and entered the living room, where he found 4 guests with extraordinary backgrounds sitting on the old sofa. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.